Pass to Vince Lombardi rest stop just off exit 16W with a Joycey Pike. Monday Night Football at the Meadowlands. Here's Mike Tirico and the gang.
It's a hot, humid night in the New York City area, Chris, as a pair of last year's best teams get set to debut for the new season. Theirs were the dreams of champions. 2008 held hopes of a Super Bowl trip for the Panthers and Giants. But in a 24-hour stretch, the Giants' absence of a game-changing receiver and the Panther quarterback turnover nightmare led to surprising home playoff losses. For both teams, the core has returned. The stars are back as two division champs are set to get back to work. And that means Eli Manning, MVP Super Bowl 42, and his Giants take on one of the top sack men of his era, Julius Peppers, and the Carolina Panthers to open their preseason. Hi, everyone. Mike Tirico. Welcome to Monday Night Football here in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. No pro sport carries the drama in the playoffs like football. Consider it. Other sports, you have best-of-7 series. Football is one day, one night. Your season's on the line. The Giants in Carolina learned that hard lesson all too well last year. 12-4, the top two seeds. They both had byes and division titles. And you know what happened. In a 24-hour span, both teams had embarrassing double-digit home playoff losses. That's the taste in their mouths the last 7 months, so you know these guys pretty fired up to put the pads back on and get on the field here tonight. Back here with Coach John Gruden and Ron Jaworski. And guys, one of the big NFL headlines this past week was Eli Manning and that contract extension. 6 years, $97 million. Forget the money. The reality is it's his team in money and also draws in leadership. The interesting part now is Giants may be a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, but the cast around Eli is really changing.
Yeah, and Eli is now the wily old veteran of the New York Football Giants with a rock-solid running game, #1 in the league a year ago, arguably one of the best offensive lines in football. But the receiving corps is where they are focusing right now. They want to come out of training camp with a group that understands what Eli Manning and the offense is trying to accomplish. No longer Plaxico Burress around. No longer Amani Toomer around. Those were the guys that Eli trusted. And it takes time to develop that trust, that esprit de corps. When you look at the receiving corps now, it's young, it's inexperienced. The Giants would love to find a #1 receiver. By having a #1 receiver that also keeps that safety way back there, Coach. You know that. And that'll help that running game get going without loading up the box.
Receiver, huge story for the Giants throughout the preseason. Giants won the East. That's always real cachet to, you know, the Redskins, the Cowboys, the Eagles. You win the NFC South. That's nice. You're a division champ. Maybe it doesn't sound as good, but you lived through the wars of the NFC South. You know it means a lot, Coach. Going up against Carolina twice here, tell me why this team is so good so often.
They do play football in the NFC South, Ron, just so you know. I like Carolina because they've been the most consistent team in the conference the last few years. And with that being said, they've got to get a lot of questions answered about their defense with the new coordinator, new scheme. But there's 3 things I really like about the Panthers, and I want to go back to D'Angelo Williams. A flashy home run hitter that never fumbles a football. 295 touches. He protects it. He makes big plays. Secondly, Steve Smith. A lot of people tell me he's the best receiver in all of football. 100 yards a game, 18.2 yards per catch. And I got the scars to prove it. He is awesome. But I really like Jake Delhomme. And I know we're going to talk about his terrible playoff outing all night. But this guy leads the National Football League in grit. Not a lot of guys can come back from Tommy John surgery and lead their team to a 12-4 finish. This guy's got the right stuff, and I really think Carolina's a talented football team.
Last 2 teams to hit the field to start their preseason, the Panthers and the Giants. And the Giants quarterback, Eli Manning, joins us on the other side. And then we'll kick it off from the Meadowlands.
Fight for every yard with EA Sports Madden NFL 10 in stores now. If you see it on Sundays, you'll see it in Madden NFL 10.
In the 80s all day, hot here in New York. Eli Manning set to start his 6th season as the Giants quarterback. And just a short time ago, he had a visit with Susie Calder.
Mike, it's a new era for Eli, one without Amani Toomer and Plaxico Burress. What does that mean for you?
You know, it's exciting. We got a bunch of new receivers in here. Guys have been here maybe a few years, but they're finally getting an opportunity to play in the games. And, you know, I'm excited to see what they can do. Get them in a live game experience. They've been making some big plays in practice, so let's see if we can take that onto the game field. So, you know, a lot of guys fighting for positions, so it should be a fun night.
And how has it changed your interaction with the receiving corps?
Well, just, you know, it's just been a different feel. You know, last couple of years, everybody's known the offense. You never had to worry about the confidence of Plaxico and Monty Toomer. Some of these young guys that make some mistakes, that make sure they don't get down on themselves. So you really got to talk to them, just continue to go over the offense, go over reads with them, and also just help with their confidence. Make sure they're staying positive. You know, whether it's making good plays, bad plays, just talking through everything. So it's been a, you know, it's been a different type of year, but I think it's been rewarding.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Susie.
All right, Susie, thank you. Eli Manning and the Giants offense. Wait a minute. Panthers won the toss and elect to receive. So we'll see Jake Delhomme and the Panthers momentarily. Lawrence Tynes was injured for a good part of last year, only active in a couple of games. He's going to kick off for the Giants as we get the night going. Very humid night here in the Meadowlands. So Dante Rosario, he's a tight end back with Mike Goodson, the running back. Goodson takes it from the 3. I want to see Goodson with good speed on special teams tonight, brought down by Chase Blackburn at the 23-yard line. John Gruden alluded to it at the open. Jake Delhomme, guy now in his 11th year in the league, 34 years old. Ron, when we visited with him last year, that Tommy John surgery, that was uncharted territory for an NFL quarterback, but he came back and was able to start every game.
He had a tremendous year last season. No, everyone's going to talk about, as Coach Gruden mentioned in the open here, about Jake Delhomme's poor performance in the playoffs. But Jake Delhomme has amnesia. He's forgotten about that. We spent time with him yesterday. He's ready to play football and move on to this year. That's key for a veteran quarterback.
Steve Smith, that big play receiver we talked about in the beginning, not in the lineup. He's back in Carolina with a shoulder injury. But first look at Deshaun Williams taken to the sideline. D'Angelo Williams, I beg your pardon, taken to the sideline by Kevin Dockery of the Giants. John, you talked about D'Angelo and the great season last year, the 1,515 yards, over 5 yards per carry. A tandem with Jonathan Stewart in the backfield, but Williams is the stud of the two.
Well, that's what makes Carolina unique. They've got a great 1-2 punch. I think Carolina's going to try to get D'Angelo a few carries here in this first quarter and get him out of there. But D'Angelo Williams can make all the runs. Enjoy watching him tonight.
After a gain of 4, Delhomme's first pass intended for the veteran Musa Muhammad, incomplete in front of Kevin Dockery. Some injuries on the Giants' defensive side. We'll talk about that momentarily. Josh, give me a little feel for Carolina offensively. What do they like to do? Will we see anything different this year?
This is a power running football team. It's John Fox style of football. They want to run the ball, set up the play action pass. The key for them this season, I think, is going to be Dwayne Jarrett. How does he come through as a number 2 or number 3 receiver? They need him to show up.
Jarrett, Jersey kid, went out to USC, had a terrific, productive couple of seasons at Southern California. He's starting tonight because Steve Smith didn't make the trip with that shoulder injury. 3rd and 6. Delhomme got time. Could not find his receiver. That's Kenneth Moore. And it's 4th down.
Had great protection. You're going to see the New York Giants run a stunt, and Carolina does an excellent job on the back end, giving Jake plenty of time. But it's good protection once again. Watch the left tackle, Jordan Gross, working inside. Nice switch on the stunt. Jake has plenty of time, just missed the throw.
Good pocket against that cover 2. He had Kenneth Moore on that little sail route. You got to hit that one.
Jason Baker is the Panthers punter again this year. 42-yarder. Mario Manningham runs up to get it. Gets to the sideline. Good return, Manningham into Carolina territory. The Giants will take over at the Panthers' 48-yard line. Dominic Hickson did the bulk of the punt returning for the Giants. They want to get a look at Manningham in addition to a couple of others tonight, and 21 yards on the return for Mario.
You know, Mario Manningham is a guy they've been raving about, Jaws, all week. He was injured most of last season, but he can really help himself if he can be an asset in a return game. Good start tonight for Manningham.
Yeah, we were out of practice on Saturday. They worked very hard on their punt return teams. You saw the result of that hard work right there.
Giants start in Panthers territory for Eli Manning. The starting guards are out tonight. It's Seibert and Chris Snead. And here comes Brandon Jacobs to the left. About a yard, brought down by one man. It doesn't happen all the time, huh? John Beeson, terrific player over there with Niall Diggs to make the stop. John, we're going to run through the Giants offense here as you look at the starting lineups. Tell me what you think Tom Coughlin's trying to accomplish with the starters tonight in the first quarter.
Knowing Tom like I do, he's going to do what they do. He's going to mix the run and the pass. He's going to try to get the big running back some carries early. I think he'd like to throw the ball a little bit down here to his young receivers while Eli's in the ball game. But they'll mix it.
The initial plan's a quarter for Manning here tonight. Second carry, Jacobs. Madison Hedgecock, the fullback, trying to lead the charge. It'll set up third and about 4.5 yards coming up.
Madison Hedgecock, number 39, does a really nice job. It's that ISO lead back to the inside. Hedgecock's going to take on that linebacker, did a really good job. And Hedgecock is one of the best blocking fullbacks, you know, in the National Football League. And it really is kind of a position that we don't talk a whole lot about because very few teams play that fullback for many snaps in the course of a game.
Everett Brown, the rookie defensive end for Carolina, is down in here at left end. Let's get a good look at him rushing the passer.
91, making his NFL debut, second-round pick out of Florida State. Closest to your screen off the D-line. Going after Kareem McKenzie. The pass complete to Manningham. First down at the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 13, but a marker down.
You know, Mike, we talked about that trust that a quarterback must have with his wide receiver. That was a clear example there.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 67 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, replay third down.
And that was McKenzie.
Yeah, but a clear example of where Eli trusted the move of Mario Manningham. He had not come out of his break. You'll see the press bump and run to the outside. Now the ball is in the air. Snap the head around and make the catch. Eli trusted the route of Manningham. It comes back, but that's something on tape now that they'll learn. They'll learn to develop with each other. Hey, I believe in you, Mario. I know when to get rid of that football. I can anticipate your move. That was well done.
Giants go 3 receivers on 3rd and 10. Manning steps up, will check down toward Manningham as he's dragging across. Incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. There's going to be a lot of that with this Giants team this year as these receivers step into different roles with no Amani Toomer, no Plexico Burns.
But, you know, let's talk about the Carolina defense. They didn't blitz at all. They played a soft zone coverage. They're relying on their pass rush. This is a big transition for the Carolina defense, and they need Peppers and Everett Brown to get some rushes.
Jeff Fiegel still going. 22nd year in the league. Nobody has pinned the opponent inside the 20 more than Fiegels. He's in midseason form. Kicked it down to the 14 where Captain Munnerlyn, the rookie, made the fair catch. See, big 6'4", 305-pound Jordan Gross right next to Jake Delhomme. Good to have left tackle like that. Gross and Jeff Otot, 2 good tackles as the Panthers get set to get in their huddle, taking over the 14-yard line. On the opposite side, a Giant defense that was 5th in the league last year in points and yards. And, back to the Parcells days, on through the last couple of decades now. Giant football has been on this side of the ball. And great to see that guy back. O.C. Umenyiora off the knee injury, suffered last preseason. D'Angelo Williams is the back. Delhomme throws to Gary Barnidge, tight end out of Louisville. They want to see him tonight. Gain of a couple of yards. It's Justin Tuck getting out there to help make the play. And as we go back to the Giants defense, what does it mean to have Tuck joined by Umenyiora one more time, John Gruden?
Well, it gives them tremendous versatility. They've created a new position called the force rusher. Tuck, Umenyiora, they drafted a kid out of Virginia. They've got 3 or 4 jokers that can rush from everywhere. It's going to be a creative position. They've got a lot of versatility in their rush this year.
That kid is Clint Sintum out of Virginia, 97. We'll flag him when he comes out later on. You see the Giants have a lot of starters out tonight, including both corners. Williams gets past one of those corners, Terrell Thomas, who's in as a reserve, and gets right to the first down marker.
I've seen this happen time and time again. They're running a power play off tackle behind Ota, and the Giants have him boxed in. But he has great stop and start quickness. D'Angelo Williams gets a lot on his own, and that's what great backs do.
Hey, I've got a question for you. You said some of the people you talked to think he's the best running back in the NFL. Those people know Adrian Peterson?
Yes, there is a debate.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, all right. All right. 25. Delhomme pressured. Ball came out. Pressure by Jay Alford. Coming up the middle. But jumping back on it was that left tackle, Jordan Gross. Umenyiora and Alford with the pressure the way Strahan used to do it in Giant Blue.
This is what it's all about for the New York Giants. Pass, rush, pressure. You see Umenyiora, the speed. He loves to explode out of that stance. He gets down to that 4-point stance and just runs right around Jordan Gross, knocks the ball loose. For the Giant defense, it's all about get off. Get off the ball with speed and quickness and put pressure on those tackles.
Hey, Giant fans in midseason form chanting for their defense. 2nd and 21, Williams on the draw. Being tackled by Brian Keel. Get it back out to the 19. Some perspective on D'Angelo Williams. How good was last year? 5.5 yards per carry. 18 touchdowns. They get the threshold of 15 touchdowns and 5.5 per carry. Jim Brown did it in a 12-game season in 58. OJ did it in a 75 14-game season. But no one in the 16-game era had done it until D'Angelo Williams puts him in that group. Incredibly impressive stats from last year for Williams.
Those graphics support my case. Thank you.
It's not your case, it's your people's case.
That's right.
You know, we'll see Adrian Peterson in a couple weeks and see what you have to say then.
Thank you. 3rd and 15. Giants put pressure on Delhomme. Out of the backfield, Brad Hoover the catch. 4.5 yards shy of a first down. Tackled by Kevin Dockery and Terrell Thomas. The corners forced the Panthers to punt.
Nice job by the Giant defense. They just expanded to the sticks, forced Jake Delhomme to throw the ball underneath and then rally and make the tackle, forcing the punt.
Jason Baker one more time, 9th year out of Iowa. Came over in a trade from Denver 4 seasons ago. Manningham gets another shot. This punt was 47 yards. Tried to reverse field and circle it up the middle, but he slipped down. Niall Diggs closed him down. Giant fans, how good does that look? 72, back on the field, back in the backfield, and knocking the ball out. Just like a couple years ago. Plexico Burris has legal issues. Amani Toomer has moved on, re-signed with Kansas City. So what's gone for Eli Manning? Well, look at the numbers of receptions and yards. That's about 3/4 of Eli's career in those categories. And almost 80%, really. 50 of the 57 touchdowns he's thrown to those guys in terms of wide receivers. So the guys at the wide receiver spot, different and new. The two knowns, the two constants are gone. And there's change on the Giants offense this year. Jacobs a run, got a block from the tight end. Michael Matthews took him out to the 28.
Mike, what's also gone is the trust that a quarterback and a wide receiver have in each other. When Plexico moves on, all of a sudden you lose that confidence that a quarterback loves to have. Let's go back to the NFC title game in 07. This is tight coverage. Eli Manning is not afraid to stick the ball into tight coverage because he trusts his wide receiver is going to make a play. He had that confidence, that esprit de corps in Plexico Burris. Now in this training camp, this preseason, he must develop that with a young group of wide receivers.
Burris had 11 catches, $151 in that game. Manning loading up. Comes back down to Jacobs. First down. 40-yard line. Hard hit by Julius Peppers.
You know, it's not that the Giants haven't tried to replace Plexico. I mean, they have done a lot, draft choice-wise. They went out and drafted Akeem Nicks this year. Manningham is an early draft choice. Steve Smith. Sonoris Moss. There's 4 or 5 second, third-round draft choices they brought in here to develop. Tom Coughlin is an ex-receiver coach. That's why we're in training camp. Somebody's got to step up tonight.
Nice to get Jacobs more involved in the pass game.
He doesn't catch many, right?
No, just 6 last year. Jacobs goes left. Oh, good opening, Jacobs. 22-yard gain, and you heard Eli Manning there. 50's the mic. That's identifying the middle linebacker. Does he do a lot in the run game?
Beautiful job by Eli Manning. And we always hear talk about the quarterback identifying the defense in the passing game. We found out this weekend how much Eli Manning must do at the line of scrimmage, identifying the front, identifying the linebackers, changing the play at the line of scrimmage. You saw it right there. He checked to a play that runs for big yardage. Eli Manning does a great job in the running game as well as the passing game.
Identified James Anderson, number 50, is the middle linebacker. From the 38, Jacobs out, and a chance for Ahmad Bradshaw to run. He'll be one of the backups for Jacobs this year. Derek Ward is off to Tampa Bay after his 1,000-yard season. So moving against this Carolina defense that is something new in terms of a change. Ron Meeks, formerly of Indianapolis. Ronnie's the new coordinator for the Panthers.
They've really simplified things. They're basically lining up in one front, trying to make things easier, less complicated, rely on their speed.
This is Mike Turkovic, long time with Carolina. Dominic Hickson, first down to the 19-yard line. Richard Marshall the tackle. The gain was 18.
Nice job on the quick screen out left, fake the running play. Now all of a sudden you got big David Deal coming out and kicking out against that cover 2 corner right there, and Hickson hits it up to the inside. Well-timed quick screen. A lot of times you see these types of lateral passes against the blitz. They're also very good against that cover 2 when that corner's up the line of scrimmage. You block him to the outside like David Deal does, you treat that nice little seam for the wide receiver.
Bradshaw to the right. Got a terrific block. Bradshaw, touchdown.
Coach is getting all landed up here.
When you have a guy like Ahmad Bradshaw as a change of pace back that can come in the football game fresh and handle a counter off tackle, follow a lead block, and then accelerate in the open air and break a tackle, that is a great 1-2 combination that the New York Giants rode all the way to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. What a great run. And again, I want to go back, Jaws. Eli Manning makes sure the Giants are operating on all cylinders. They will not run the ball unless it's an optimum look to run against.
And what a great block there was Tutin Reyes. Boy, what a super job coming around the horn, Coach.
Extra point added by Lawrence Tynes. Tutin Reyes, who played with Jacksonville last year. Kid from the great borough of Queens, coming back to the New York area. Threw the block on John Beeson to cap a 77-yard touchdown drive.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by Lexus, who invites you to the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Hurry, ends September 7th. AT&T, your world delivered. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
That's a little sneak peek inside the new stadium that the Giants and Jets will share equally right in the parking lot. $1.6 billion stadium ahead of construction. Should be ready around November. I got a tour before the game. I got to tell you guys, unbelievable.
And Mike, I drove over here with Coach Gruden, and you know, it's amazing the use of stats he gives me. $2 million of square footage in that new stadium. Man, way to be on the game, Coach. I'm glad you told me that. But only 900,000 here at Giant Stadium.
That's right. Twice the size of the current stadium. The new stadium open for next year. Mike Goodson, another kick return. A flag comes down as Goodson trips at the 23 with Brian Keel falling on him. Gene Steratore is our referee here tonight.
During the return, holding. Number 66 to the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Carolina. Timeout.
So another long field for the Panthers. We'll see if Jake Delhomme comes out for one more series here in this opening quarter.
Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
4:45 left, first quarter. First preseason game for the Panthers and Giants. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Colbert down on the sideline tonight. Third series for the Panthers. 20 yards and 1 first down in the first 2. And Jake Delhomme gives to D'Angelo Williams. And this Giant defense looks just as good as ever. Barry Cofield, Antonio Pierce meet at the running back.
Antonio Pierce does such a terrific job of running through. He's a very instinctive, intuitive player, and he's the kind of guy that will just fly to the football. That's exactly what he will do. He'll read the direction, stay at home, and there you go, right through. Shoot the gap, make the tap in the backfield. What a job by Antonio Pierce.
Second and 10, Dwayne Jarrett at the bottom of the screen. See if Jake goes that way. He tried to. Broken up by Terrell Thomas.
That's a great play by Terrell Thomas doing his homework. Jake Delhomme loves to throw the back shoulder fade. And I tell you, Terrell Thomas did a great job preparing for this game plan because he's sitting on Jarrett looking for the back shoulder fade. That's a big-time play by the young corner.
The key word you said, looking back. That really is key to the play because, you know, usually the defensive back is looking at the wide receiver running down the field. He comes back and makes the catch. That was a beautiful job by Terrell Thomas of keying in the backfield.
Those guys have done that before. Those are both USC guys at Pete Carroll's program at the same time. Delhomme underneath. Kenneth Moore. First down to the 34-yard line. Michael Johnson made the tackle on Moore, the free agent out of Wake Forest in his second year.
It's a nice call on 3rd and 9. Giants have been playing a lot of 2-deep zone, and you really got to have a 2-deep zone beater called to beat that coverage. They had a double clear out right there. Nice throw inside to Kenneth Moore for a run after the catch.
There's Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers. Looks great. He lost about 70 pounds in the offseason. Williams turned back in by the safety Phillips. He's still able to get it out to the 38-yard line. Jay Alford made the tackle. Terrell Thomas. That's the second time, guys, that we've called Jay Alford. We want to give him a pop. You know, Fred Robbins, their starting defensive tackle, out with the knee injury. Barry Cofield in the lineup. But Alford, now in his 3rd year at Penn State, hung out with O.C. Umenyiora in Atlanta this summer, trained his tail off, and O.C. said, watch out for this guy this year. He's impressed me.
You know, on the earlier sack fumble caused by O.C. Umenyiora, it really was Jay Alford coming up the middle that forced Delhomme to back up. So you got to get some pressure in the inside push.
Delhomme passes to the tight end, and Gary Barnidge takes it for the first down in front of Danny Clark. You've got a tight end situation that's fluid here with the Panthers. Jeff King, Dante Rosario, and Barnidge here in his second year getting a good look.
Well, Barnidge is a guy that we know can catch the football. Carolina wants to put him in on some normal situations, see if he can block, because I guarantee you that's going to be a big part of the tight end's role in Carolina.
They are a power-running football team. These teams are almost mirror images of each other offensively. It starts with the running game.
D'Angelo Williams looking for space, takes it to the 47-yard line.
When you watch D'Angelo Williams run the football, there are so many times you think you have him at the line of scrimmage. You'll be standing on the sidelines. You and I, Jaws, will look up at the scoreboard. It's 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. This guy has unbelievable vision, and he's the perfect size. He's got a little contact surface. He's only 5'9", but he's a 220-pound man. He does a great job in traffic.
No, Coach, you got that wrong. You stood on the sidelines. I sat up here.
I wasn't going to mention the 186 yards that Williams had on Monday Night Football against Tampa last year.
On that one.
I'm sorry, huh? Pressure picked up, but the pass intended for the veteran Muhsin Muhammad is incomplete.
It was great talking to D'Angelo last night. I hated to say goodnight, but the one thing that really impressed me is he is a humble young man. He likes flying under the radar. I said, hey, do you know there's a lot of people and momentum for you out there in terms of being one of the best backs in the world? He says, hey, I like being underneath the radar. Me and Jonathan Stewart, we're just going to do our thing. He loves football. He's got a vibe about him that's contagious. Look for an awesome year from D'Angelo.
You mentioned Stewart. He has missed the last 5 practices with an Achilles problem. Not on the trip tonight. Delhome's pass is caught at midfield, but Jarrett's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down in front of Terrell Thomas. So those former USC Trojans hook up again, and it'll be fourth down.
Delhomme hung in that pocket as long as he could, waiting for something to develop down the field. He couldn't wait any longer, had to go to the little shorter route. Good tackle on the play, forcing the fourth down punt once again.
And you see Sonaris Moss come on the field for the Jason Baker kick. The Giants continue to run those receivers through as punt returners. Well, Moss caught this one inside the 5. I don't know how wise that was. Brought down to the 12-yard line.
That's not the rule you want.
Usually you let that one go. 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. Next Monday night, the co-tenants here. The New York Jets will have their first-round pick, Mark Sanchez, starting at quarterback as Rex Ryan goes to see the team whose defense he ran last year, the Baltimore Ravens. See it from Maryland for the Jets and Ravens. Monday night countdown, 7 Eastern, our kick time at 8. Eli Manning with that nice touchdown drive on the last series, done for the night. The Giants preseason opener, walk it down the field on the second drive for 77 yards, and one former #1 overall quarterback makes way for the other. David Carr, now in his 8th year in the league. Started with the Panthers in 2007. Hands to Ahmad Bradshaw, who's taken for the first down. That's one of a couple of big runs we've seen from Bradshaw tonight.
Yeah, if you're going to play the run in this Carolina defense with your front 7, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, your defensive tackles must play well. You see Nick Hayton, number 98, get single block there. John Beeson get taken out the play, and the result is a touchdown. When you're going to play that cover 2, you have to defend the run with 7 in the box. Your tackles, linebackers must play well. We saw Hayton in there because Kimoyatu is out for the season. They're going to have to address the tackle position in this training camp and preseason period.
Huge loss for them. First 10 minutes, first practice of the year, losing their big stopper up the middle, and Mahake Kimoyatsu. End of the quarter at the Meadowlands, and the Giants lead 7-0.
One of the best ideas in medicine.
Back for the second quarter at Giants Stadium. Tom Coughlin's Giants leading 7-0 over the Panthers. Rematch of great end of the regular season game last year, won by the Giants in overtime here, 34-28. David Carr in there at quarterback. Boy, he had a great offseason. You know why? He only got sacked once last year. He hadn't been able to say that. Remember the physical beating he took with the expansion Texans. His throw to Dominic Hickson. Takes it out to the 27-yard line. You remember, guys, he started with the Texans, 2002, 76 sacks. Sacked nearly 250 times in those 5 full seasons. Then spent time with Carolina. Now here he is, second year backing up Eli.
It's tough business. You're the #1 pick by an expansion team, and you have 16 regular season games. That line was not ready to play. David, I'm sure, developed some bad habits, but he's making a comeback here in New York.
Let's go. 76. 76, Austin. Austin, 52. Long line. Hey, Omaha.
Second and 5. Has time. Has Moss. Sonaris. First down at the 37-yard line.
Nice job by David Carr at the line of scrimmage, checking the defense. He saw those corners off. He checked to the quick slant. You'll see it right here. A little pressure up the middle. Good pickup. A little slant, flat, easy read for the quarterback. Once those corners are off, this is pitch and catch from that point on. Saw this out of practice an awful lot on Saturday, Coach. David Carr to Sonaris Moss.
And that does it for the first-team Panthers defense. In mass, 8 Panther defenders came off the field after that first down. That was the 12th play, by the way, the Giants ran. Carr to Bradshaw, out of the backfield. Good elusiveness from Ahmad Bradshaw. across, well, right at midfield. First down.
It
Gain of 13.
almost appeared Mikey came back to the same play, checked to that slant with those corners off, but the Panthers secondary did a real good job of reading it. It wasn't there. This is quarterbacking, guys. Go through your progression, process the information, check the football down.
It also
David Carr
helps
did all
when
that.
you got a guy like Ahmad Bradshaw to check the ball down to. I'm really impressed with the way Ahmad is running with the ball with speed and authority. That was impressive.
Right back to Bradshaw. No room there. Gains less than a yard. I'll tell you about Bradshaw, for those of you who don't remember, when the Giants made the Super Bowl run, he led the team in rushing in the playoffs at 208 yards. Last year, disappointing season, variety of things, including violation of juvenile probation, and spent 30 days in jail. Finished that sentence this offseason. Bradshaw, with the absence of Derek Ward, a much bigger impact guy in this Giants offense for 2009. Giants take a timeout here. We'll step out 2.5 into the second quarter. Giants up 7.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by LG, Life's Good, Taco Bell, think outside the bun, and Chevy.
No place like it. Summertime in the city. New York City, Central Park, skyline, the view from the Jersey side. All the skyscrapers illuminated at night. Quick shot through the tunnel, or you can even take the train now to football games here in the Meadowlands. It's something new. David Carr back to work. The pass is complete. A marker's down. David Tyree, the Super Bowl hero of a couple of years ago, made the catch. Tyree in a big battle to keep his roster spot with the Giants. A lot of receivers and a logjam there. Tyree's best contribution had been special teams until that Super Bowl miracle moment. Let's check the flag now. Gene's territory.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact, illegal hand to the face. Number 27 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You know, when you start playing a lot of cover 2, like Carolina's playing right now, you're going to be suspect to some of those calls. There are a lot of restrictions on what you can do with your hands, obviously, within a 5-yard area. You're going to get some of these ticky-tack calls, particularly in the preseason.
Coach, that because that cover 2, those corners up, jammed the line of scrimmage, trying to hold on a little longer to them.
That's right.
After the automatic first down, David Carr in trouble and brought down. James Anderson, as the coverage was good, the linebacker comes inside and makes the sack. Loss of 8.
Let's take a look at these two rookies here on the left side. Beatty out of Connecticut, good counter to the inside, but he gets help against Everett Brown. The linebacker, Anderson, green dog and came after his back block, gets the sack. The protection was pretty good, Ron. But when you're covering that running back and he doesn't get out in the route, sometimes in a man coverage, they'll go get you.
You nailed it, Coach. Got a green dog that swings through the blocks. Go, he got the sack.
Loss of 8. Carr throws it to Darcy Johnson. The reserve tight ends takes it to the 45. You showed that head-to-head. That's a good one to watch here, those second teams. William Beatty, fourth year, or second rookie, I should say, second-round pick out of the University of Connecticut. Had a slow start to his camp. Giants excited to get a look at him tonight. And opposite, another second-round pick from this past draft, a rookie out of Florida State, Everett Brown, who played a lot of right defensive end. Mickey Andrews' defense down at Florida State was third in the nation with 13.5 sacks last year. So these two guys, second-round picks, going head-to-head with the second units now. Beatty holds his own as Carr rolls away and runs, propelling himself for the first down at the 32-yard line. Gain of 13.
Great effort by David Carr. Well, let's watch these two rookies go to work. Everett Brown trying a little bull rush. Look at the big fella anchored down. Good effort by Everett Brown, but here goes David Carr. The clock goes off, 3rd down and 9. Good decision. Nobody's open. Get all you can. And if you can't get the first down on the ground, go airborne. Great job by David Carr.
And Ahmad Bradshaw, nice block downfield, allowed David Carr to get the first down.
You all want your backup quarterback doing that preseason game one, guys?
Heck yeah.
All right, just checking.
Football, Mike, football.
I understand that. Bradshaw gets a couple to the 30-yard line. David Carr, 4 for 4, that nice scramble. It's good to see Jaws. Remember sitting with him last year? David Carr kind of admitted to having whiplash or sacklash, if you will. He got hit so often, he got a little gun-shy back there.
You know, I had a chance to at practice, and Chris Palmer now working with the quarterbacks here in New York, and of course he had David Carr as well. So when you watch David Carr, I saw an improvement in mechanics, and he was a little quirky with his motion when he came out. But I've seen a quarterback that is much more fundamentally sound. That means you're going to be more consistent and more accurate with your passing.
Giants forced to take another timeout. You mentioned Chris Palmer as the head coach in Cleveland, and then the offensive coordinator for Carr in Houston. Lay out the baseball lineup for you this week. Get a chance to see Roy Halladay, one of the best in the business, pitch for the Blue Jays against the Red Sox, who are struggling now behind Texas in the wild card in the AL. And then the Sox this weekend will play the Yankees at Sunday Night Baseball in Fenway. We know what happened a few weeks ago when the Yankees and Sox met across the river at Yankee Stadium. So the Red Sox Wednesday against the Jays, Sunday against the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN and ESPN 360 as well. Giants have burned a couple of timeouts on this long drive. Here's the 10th play of it from the 29.
Spreading them out.
Carr throwing toward Manningham. Incomplete. Dante Wesley, 8th-year player back there in coverage. How's that battle going up front with those 2 second-round picks?
Well, they're going at it. Beatty and Everett Brown are going at it snap after snap. This is what both personnel directors want to see. Good chip by Darcy Johnson. Beatty's got to play smaller. He plays a little bit high, but you can see, Ron, Everett Brown is not the biggest pass rusher. He's going to have to really work on his speed and get off to get the corner.
You know, that was the first thing that jumped out to me last night when Everett Brown came into our meeting. He's not a big guy. In this game, you're going to get pushed around.
To Bradshaw, nice elusive move for one, but Quentin Teal out of Coastal Carolina brings him down, a few yards shy of the first down. Field goal coming for the Giants.
Ahmad Bradshaw's having a stellar night tonight. Here's his touchdown run. And I love the finish, Coach. Look at him just roll over people. Now another run back up to the inside. You see the quick feet, the vision, and the finish of the run once again. He's running a tad angry right now. Here taking the check down from David Carr. Gets the sideline. Last second, get out of bounds and don't take the hit. Very impressive night for Ahmad Bradshaw.
43-yard field goal attempt for Lawrence Tynes. Man who kicked the game winner to get the Giants to the Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago. Hooks that one, but not enough. Missed it to the right. John Carney did the kicking because of Tynes' injury last year in camp. Tynes a little healthier this year, but missed from 43. Well, Coach Gruden, I know this is a memorable part of your summer, the trip to Iraq with you, Bill Cowher, Jeff Fisher, John Harbaugh, and Tom Coughlin, coach of the Giants, to visit our troops. There's the Vice President, Joe Biden, among the dignitaries on the trip. It must have been some experience for Coach Coughlin and you to be a part of that.
We had a great time. You know, Tom Coughlin is very patriotic. He introduced us to Ray Odierno, 4-star general. We met a lot of troops. We had to stay in the same room, though, all 5 of us. And Tom Coughlin took the big bed. He snored all night. That was not fun. What a great time.
Thanks for what you did, Coach, and you and all the other coaches. That's fantastic. We all appreciate it. We appreciate the troops as well.
Josh McCown is in at quarterback. He's the number 2 right now. Bit of a battle here for this spot. McCown's pass is caught by Kenneth Moore, but a huge hit thrown by C.C. Brown, the safety. So what was it like being over there and visiting with our troops?
You know, when you fly 15 hours with a group of guys for a cause, it really made it special. We met Army people, Navy, Air Force, Marines, young soldiers that are over there working all day and night to protect us. They don't make a lot of money. All they want is our appreciation. So if you see a military person at a local restaurant, give them your chair, treat them with respect, and thank them. It was awesome.
43. Backup running back Mike Goodson in there. He gains a couple of yards. I want to ask you about Tom Coughlin. John Harbaugh, who we'll see next week in Baltimore, he told a great story. He said, you'd look over, you'd think nobody actually slept in the bed. Coughlin would slide under the covers and slide back out. Is that right?
That was true. Now, Tom Coughlin can teach you a lot if you're willing to listen. This guy is one of my all-time favorites. He is a grinder. He leads the league in effort. This guy right here is meticulous. He runs a tight ship, but he's having more fun than he's ever had. I'm really wishing the best for him.
Josh McCown and the Panthers, 2nd and 8. Changed the cadence, got a free play out of it, and almost threw an interception. Stoney Woodson couldn't hang on to it.
Coach, you're talking about Coach Coughlin. You know, he was a wide receiver coach in Philadelphia during my playing
Offside.
days.
Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
What stood out to me was the attention to detail, the discipline with which he coached the receiving corps. If you're supposed to make that break at 15 yards with the inside foot, it's not at 15 and a half, not at 14 and a half, it's at 15 and a half. That's the discipline he brought to our passing game.
I believe it.
Tom's a great lesson for all of us that you're never too young or too old to learn. He turned 63 at the end of August. Mike Goodson on the toss. Brought down by Jarris Wilkinson. Nice job by Wilkinson, close to the first down. I say that, guys, because of the Super Bowl season. You know, Tom Coughlin built such a disciplined, talented team in Jacksonville, a couple of AFC Championship game appearances, 2nd year as an expansion franchise. And we know Camp Coughlin, how tough it all was. But remember that run to the Super Bowl? He changed. He adjusted. Players committee was set up. Tom learned to listen more. And candidly, he did it because his job was on the line at the end of that season before the Super Bowl. Well, the softer, gentler, more willing to listen Tom Coughlin and the Giants of 07 were the perfect match and made it to the Super Bowl. 3rd and short run for Tony Fiametta. Rookie out of Syracuse, the 4th-round pick. Gets a first down at the Giants' 45-yard line.
You know, Mike, Coach Coughlin also gave Coach Gruden an assignment this summer, a reading assignment, like about 6 books to read. And Coach Coughlin wasn't too happy when Mr. Gruden said, I didn't get to read all those books this summer, Coach. Of course, we were in production meetings for the last 9 days.
We don't want to get into all these things right here.
You don't. We do.
Carolina's run the ball 3 straight plays. Let's get back to action here.
How I spent my summer by John Deere. The 46, Goodson. Nice move. To the tackle, Trevante Johnson brought him down at the 39-yard line. I mentioned Jonathan Stewart. He figures to be the number 2 back for this Panthers team behind D'Angelo Williams, but bothered with the injury, the Achilles problem. So Goodson, a rookie out of Texas A&M, going to get the start or the opportunity to get a good look here tonight.
You know, Goodson's a talented back. He had injury problems at Texas A&M. John Fox thinks he's a talented guy that can do all the things a Carolina back needs to do.
He's got outstanding speed.
Second and 3 from McCown, and clearing through, but dropping is Jason Carter. Boy, Carter found an open spot in that zone, but he put it on the ground.
McCown did a nice job of hanging in the pocket, waiting for Carter to come open. Couldn't wait any longer. Took a little air off this ball. Right in the soft spot of the zone. You can see Carter takes his eye off the ball, looking for the contact. Catch it first. You're going to get hit anyway. Might as well catch it.
Carter, former Minnesota Viking, hurt his knee in the preseason last year. Empty backfield, 5 wide. And underneath shot for Carter, couldn't get there. And it'll bring up 4th down from the 38.
Brian Khalil, the linebacker, buzzed out in that slot, did a real nice job of forcing the receiver back to the inside. Carter once again, and McCown just missed him.
But it goes back to the 3rd down play. In a National Football League, when you get a wide open receiver, you pick up a blitz flush, you got to make the play. And that's what coaches are finding out, who can make the plays and who can't. And at the end of the day, those decisions will be made based on the information they get in these games.
Kickers couldn't get straight whether John Fox wanted a field goal or a punt here, so timeout was taken. We'll see if the Panthers change their mind. 7-0 Giants That timeout by John Fox, and he changes his mind, decides to go for it. Coach wants to be a little more aggressive and do those things in the preseason.
Oh, I think so. You want to put your guys in a playmaking situation. You want to find out about Josh McCown. Let's put him in a situation where he's got to make a play. We're in the scoring zone. Make something happen.
In a man-to-man situation here, they're going to force him to make a stick throw.
Giants bring pressure this time. McCown goes where it came from. To Mike Goodson. First down. Then he goes down. They're going to rule that Goodson was down before the ball came out. First down Panthers at the Giants 32. So they pick up the fourth down.
Well, the Giants love that A-gap pressure. That area between the guards and the center. They love to start it right there. That's what it's all about, right in there. Look at those linebackers. They are right in those gaps. That's where it starts, about pressure. There you go. Good job of picking up the furthest defender removed from the quarterback. Let him run free. Give the quarterback time to get rid of the football. Josh McCown read it beautifully. Got the first down.
Challenge flag coming. Tom Coughlin gets it out there. Very close to see if any part of the body of the rookie Goodson was down. And Tom Coughlin reaches into the sock, gets the challenge flag out.
You know, Coach Coughlin's down there waiting for you, Jaworski, to draw the play up so he could see the replay. And obviously he saw something that he liked.
Did I help him out?
Yeah, you helped him. Great job on the drawing.
Gets the ball out before any part of the body's down. You decide. So Gene Steratore underneath in the voters booth, if you will. Take a look to see if that in fact was a fumble or not. Tom Coughlin's challenge. Let's get a peek at it. As the hand comes down and the ball comes out. Right there on contact.
He's down.
Down by contact.
A couple of different things there. You have no other body part down. No shin, no thigh, no ankle, no back. It's got a couple of Michael Strahan is the reason the crowd is cheering as he's single-handed. This is a great idea. During challenges in stadiums, you can have a former great from your team personally go around and
sign
greet
some
players.
autographs, you know, and a few giveaways.
You know, some of these challenges are supposed to last 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I can't recall the exact time, but some of these challenges are going on and on, Jaws.
Well, it gets time to look at Michael Strahan leaving the field.
Oh, no, there's an exact amount of time once they go in and look at the replay from the replay booth and the communicator up top. That video only does run a certain amount of time. You know that, right?
Well, it sure seems like we could go for a jog up here. You know, it's a key point in the game. If it's a regular season game or any game, you get the footage, you make the call, you deliver the message. But it's a preseason game, and obviously all these things need to be tinkered with.
Well, no, see, if a ball comes out and it's a fumble like that, and you had a down by contact situation, because I think this may end up being a fumble, then you have to determine, was a clear recovery made, and where was that clear recovery made, and all of that goes with it. So the replay decision was made, but then you got a lot of administrative stuff. You just want it right, don't you? Come on, Coach.
After review, it has been determined that as the runner spun to go down, the back of his hand hit the ground. Therefore, he was not down by contact. The ruling is a fumble. The New York Giants have a clear recovery just outside the 30-yard line. It will be 1st and 10 New York Giants. They will not be charged with a timeout.
Clear recovery. See, now there's one to take to the water cooler tomorrow. The back of the hand is not a body part. Any part of the body has to be down, but that's not deemed as part of it.
And you can see from Coach Fox's reaction, he and I are not on the same page with the officials there, but that's a tough one there. I don't see that often.
Hands and feet when you're trying to determine a part of the body being down. And the question is, which part of the hand? The back of the
wrist,
hand.
the wrist, the back of the hand?
Yeah. At what point does it stop changing? Is it the wrist and the forearm area? Because if it was the forearm, it would have been down by contact. But because it was the wrist on down to the hand, it's not. Danny Ware comes in and runs for the Giants to take over on the night's first turnover, and he takes it out to the 35-yard line, a gain of about 4. Ware was on the Jets practice squad a few years ago, then signed by the Giants. Had a very good preseason last year. And
Danny Ware is a guy they really want to get a look at. Derek Ward got obviously left in free agency on to Tampa Bay, but they really like a lot of the things that Derek Ware has done in this preseason.
They want him to become their third down back. He's a good receiver, and he can run the football. The Giants love to run the ball on that third down and 3 or 4 situation.
Ware going to the right. Dan Connor, the linebacker, formerly of Penn State, joins Mortley Ivy for the tackle. Connor's a third-round pick that the Panthers made last year.
Coach, you like to call those 3rd and 4 running plays, don't you?
I like to call 3rd and 4 running plays on the road, because if you call them at home and they don't work, you get booed out of the stadium. It's good to see Connor back, the young linebacker out of Penn State. Was off to a great start last year. Got hurt. And I really think he's got a chance to be a player here, whether it's middle linebacker as a backup to Beeson or on the outside. Good football player.
It's the 4-man rush. David Carr. Sack. Thrown down to the ground by Hilly Taylor. Probably the second-round pick out of second year out of North Carolina. 7th-round pick last year. Will force the Giants to punt.
You know, mobility can get you in trouble sometimes, Jaws. Here's a case where David Carr gets out of the pocket. You got to find a way to throw the football away. If for anything else, you don't want to take too many of those hits.
Mobility is important, but it should be the last option, scrambling from the pocket. He had a good protection there. He should have stayed in.
Jeff Feagles has his punt blocked by James Anderson, and very alert, the veteran knocks it out of the back of the end zone. So a safety, and it's 7-2, but Feagles probably saved 4 or 5 points by knocking it out of the back of the end zone. A marker's down, back in the end zone.
Coach, you know, throughout the week, throughout the preseason, the regular season, you work on those plays. Your punter has to be aware. A loose ball, if you can't get to it, knock it out. Give him 2. Don't give him 6 or 7.
You know, Jeff Feagles in his 22nd season punt, Pro Bowler last year, for him to have a punt blocked, there obviously was a clear breakdown in protection. Watch off your right side right here. Nobody touches Anderson. He comes right around the corner for a routine block.
For illegal batting, as the batting occurred in the field of play. However, the result of the play is a bat out of the end zone, which is a result of a safety.
That's a heads-up play by Jeff Feagles, but you definitely do not want your Pro Bowl punter in a position like that in a preseason game. Just a total breakdown in communication on the right side. Routine, easy play for the Carolina Panthers. But watch Jeff Feagles' presence right here. If he doesn't bat this ball out of the end zone, could be a touchdown for Carolina. Heads-up play by Jeff Feagles. Great job by Carolina capitalizing. Nice job of laying out.
Can I ask you about special teams in the preseason, Coach? And so often I'll see a highlight on TV of some kick return for the touchdown in the 4th quarter of a preseason game. Those mean nothing because most of those guys will never be on the field. But at this point in the game, is that something where you got a lot of guys on the field who are going to be part of your team?
We started every meeting after the game with the special teams tape, and we're going to evaluate every guy that performs in all phases of the kicking game. You have got to be able to play on the punt team, the punt return team, the kickoff coverage, kick return team. There are so many different phases. A lot of guys are going to make the football team tonight and next week solely on their special teams performances.
And there were a bunch of very familiar Giant names and numbers that you saw heading the other way. So after the safety, the free kick by Feagles will take Ryan Robinson to the sideline, but out of bounds. The penalty marker down, that will give Carolina good field position because they had just get the call from Gene Steratore.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 50-yard line. First down, Carolina.
30 yards from the spot of the kick, just like if a kickoff goes out of bounds. The Panthers don't have Steve Smith, their Steve Smith, with them tonight. Both teams have wide receivers named Steve Smith. This one's the better one. Pro Bowler 4 times. All-time Panther leader, 51 touchdowns. And this guy, what do you call him, John?
I call him Freddy Krueger because he scared me to death twice a year for 7 years. That guy's special, real special.
And what he does for the Carolina offense so much.
53's a Mike. 53's a Mike. One next up.
Josh McCown back to work for the Panthers. Here's Mike Goodson again. Gain of a couple to the right.
You know, the way they utilize Steve Smith is a key component in the running game. They're going to run the football, but if they don't get a good number count, they just kick the ball outside to him, try to pick up a block or two, and this guy is phenomenal after the catch. If it's a loaded box and they give him single coverage, Jake will throw the ball up top for the back shoulder fade. Nobody does it better than Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith.
That pass was deflected and intercepted by Stoney Woodson, the Giants' 7th-round pick out of South Carolina, who takes it across midfield and into Panther territory. Right before the 2-minute warning, Panthers trying to get into a 2-minute drill with Josh McCown and the backups, but deflected up front, and Stoney Woodson the pick. Anthony Bryant out of Alabama got a hand on it, and Woodson got 2 hands on it. Very nice of all the people at Giant Stadium. So wish you a happy birthday, John.
Hey, hey.
Did you ever get a birthday greeting on a scoreboard in the NFL?
Hey, how awesome is that, man?
That's cool, huh?
Monday night football. My birthday was my best friend. Love you.
Millions of them.
Was that real?
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys.
You know what's funny?
Thank you,
There
man.
are a bunch of guys who played for you when you said, love you guys. They're laughing their tails off. That was the Gruden line. Love you guys.
I got a new one, though. I can't use it on air, though. Guys.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys.
You're still young, right?
I'm still young.
All right. You look mean and young. David Carr, the quarterback, to Danny Ware. And see the Giants do here with under 2 minutes at the 41-yard line. These are the situations coaches love and quarterbacks in the preseason, Ron. Get a little live 2-minute drill.
Oh, as a quarterback, you love this situation because you're out in the field, 2-minute drill. You know, before the half, you're calling the plays. Every quarterback loves this situation.
Carr throws. That pass is broken up. Good job defensively by Sherrod Martin, the 2nd-round pick for the Panthers out of Troy. It was intended for Tyree. I know coaches script and schedule their preseason. You want to get a little 2-minute drill work. Can you replicate in training camp what happens in the preseason games?
No, you really can't. You have the officials here. You have the crowd noise. You have the spontaneity, the whole thing. But David Carr needs this work. Let's not forget, Eli Manning doesn't miss a snap in a regular season. This is valuable work for David Carr.
Good point. 71 straight starts for Eli.
76. 77's Mike.
3rd and 2 for Rush. Carr incomplete, and pass in and out of the hands of Derek Hagan, and we'll have 4th down. Let's see what Tom Coughlin does. 4th down at the 40 as Dante Wesley was there in coverage.
Well, you got to believe he'll go for it in this situation, a preseason game.
Hagan's had a very good camp, by the way. We have yet to see Hakeem Nicks, 18, the Giants' 1st-round pick. Another receiver who is worth hanging around for in the 2nd half, Ramses Barden, 3rd-round pick out of Cal Poly.
6'6".
And makes plays. Really leaping out to observers at Giant camp.
Very impressive.
4th and 2, try to do it on the ground. And Ware won't get there. So the Carolina defense. Mortley Ivy at the bottom of the pile, and the rest of the defensive front stop the Giants. 4 and out. The Panthers will take over at the 42. The Bucs 16. And a couple of timeouts left. Toyota halftime show coming up. Chris Berman and company. Highlights of the Jaguars-Dolphins game. Have we said this before? The latest on Brett Favre. And how about this one, huh? What? Fist flying in Oakland. I don't know if you heard this story about fist flying and who was involved in Oakland. It wasn't a player fight in training camp. That's all I'll say.
Can't wait to hear that story.
Oh, yeah.
I got some Raiders stories for you guys.
Yes, you do.
We've heard a lot of them.
All right, a buck 16 and 2 timeouts for Carolina.
Good. Base.
And see what Josh McCown can do. He can get sacked and move the football. Maurice Evans, the free agent rookie out of Penn State, knocked it away. At the bottom of the pile, Big Blue should have it. They do. Giant ball. There's 3 turnovers in the last 4 offensive snaps for the Panthers.
Ball security. If you're a quarterback in this league, the bodies are around you. You must take care of the football first.
You know, Maurice Evans is a guy they like out of Penn State. He gets off, he beats the right tackle, he keeps after the quarterback. Excellent play by the young man out of Penn State. Ball's on the ground. Giants are trained to scoop and score. Luckily, they get back on the football.
DeAndre Wright recovered. Jeff Schwartz was the offensive lineman who got toasted there. Giants have like 73 defensive linemen. It's unbelievable how good they are up front. Carr with another opportunity. Taken down by Joe Fields, who once was a quarterback at Syracuse.
You know, when you think about the Giants, they're missing 3 key free agents they brought in here defensively. Michael Boley, the linebacker from the Atlanta Falcons. Chris Canty, big defensive lineman from the Dallas Cowboys. I even saw Rocky Bernard on the field, long time defensive lineman with the Seahawks. I asked Coach Coughlin, what kind of defense are you planning on running? They have a bunch of guys that can put their hand down and rush.
And they're going to play some 5-1-5. 5 down linemen, 1 linebacker, 5 defensive backs. They're deep at the defensive line position. They're going to utilize it.
From the 36, light him up for the blitz. Carr hit as he throws. Hagan couldn't get there in front of Dante Wesley, and incomplete. You know, in all the talk of the Giants wide receiving corps, Dominic Hicks, Steve Smith, Sonaris Moss, Manningham, the rookies, Tyree. That guy Hagan has had a very good camp. Was with Miami last year, then came to the Giants after his wave. He has made play after play, day after day up in Albany.
But, Mike, someone has to separate. You know, you got a bunch of guys that are making a play here, making a play there. The Giants need somebody to emerge as a #1 go-to receiver for Eli Manning. We just, you know, hey, it might be one of their draft choices, Akeem Nicks. You know, maybe it's going to be Ramsey Clark, but they need somebody to give them that big play.
Screen beats pressure a lot. It does here. Danny Ware, touchdown.
Maybe it'll be a big play, a running back, an explosive running back in the passing game rather than throwing it down the field. Throw a screen.
Let's take a look at this, Jaws. They have the right play called. It's a blitz. And Danny Ware bluffs the blitzer. And off he goes. Right down the numbers. Good cutback running. Excellent play selection once again by Kevin Gilbride and the Giants. And Ware looks like a factor when he has his hands on the football.
David Carr, nice job of setting it up. Played a game with the defensive line, the linebackers, settled on a drop. All of a sudden he dropped back and dumped off the screen. That double set worked beautifully by David Carr.
Lawrence Tynes adds the extra point. It's 14-2. The Giants lead.
David Carr has made some plays with his legs, with his arm. I've even seen him audible in several times. This has been a good night for David Carr. And the thing I like about the Giant football team, Jaws, is they're a young football team. I mean, Fiegels is in his 22nd year. I'm not talking about Fiegels. But Seibert, our left guard here in New York, is in his 9th year. He's the longest tenured Giant that's on the football team. They have young players stacked at every position. I guarantee you there's a lot of coaches and scouts and personnel people watching this Giant preseason tape.
And especially that defensive tackle position. We spoke about it just a few moments ago, how deep they are at defensive tackle.
53 make the roster. You try to get some of the younger guys to the practice squad, but there'll be some players released from Tom Coughlin's team in the numbers game that will end up on NFL rosters week 1.
Well, we're looking at 2 teams now, let's be honest, that were 12-4 last year. Both teams good enough to secure home field buys. Both of these squads have good young talent, and you can't keep all of them, Jaws.
That's why they play these preseason games, give these young men an opportunity to show their talents. They may not stay with the team they're playing for right now, but people will see them. Every one of these tapes, you know, Coach, hey, you can wait to get back to the office, look at other games around the league. Who's the guy that can help you? Maybe might be on some other team.
Tynes kicks off at 14-2, and Ryan Robinson out of Miami, Ohio. Turns it out to the 25. Tyree and Jarris Wilkinson there to make the stop for the Giants. That's the way David Tyree made his name. Once a Pro Bowler on special teams before that great helmet catch in the Super Bowl.
That's why a guy like David Tyree is going to be hard to have not make your football tape, because you know he can run down there and cover kicks. That fourth and fifth receiver, whether we agree or not, he has to play on special teams, and Tyree can do that.
And that's the numbers game with all the receivers they've drafted. Nix, Barden from this year, they're going to make the team. Manningham, Sonaris Moss, Hickson, Steve Smith. I'm already at 6, and I mentioned Tyree. Let's see if Carolina can get a snap or two without a turnover. Mike Goodson put it on the ground. Recovered by Duke Robinson, backup offensive lineman.
Looks like John Fox wants to take it to the locker room, but that's the second time Goodson has put the ball on the ground. The number one issue with anybody that carries or touches the football is you better protect it. You carry the whole organization with you.
Ball security.
Pretty good half for the Giants. Their defense only allows 91 yards. Offense with a couple of touchdowns. At the break, 14-2 Big Blue. Now to Chris Berman to Toyota halftime show. Boomer.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So the fans of the Meadowlands happy thus far. 14-2, the Giants lead Carolina. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Adam Schefter with his debut with us. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Chris.
And a good-looking start for the Giants, who look like the Giants, Tom, don't they?
Well, we see good things from both teams, but I think the Giants, their staple running game, their ability to grind it out on the ground, that's the staple of this football team and Tom Coughlin. That's the way he wants to coach. But in the passing game, the deep ball not in play, the check down to Brandon Jacobs on the sideline. Then Hickson, you're going to see here, again, the little screen to the split end, they get good yardage out of it. They come back to Sonoris Moss, again coming back to throw, little seam route, and then finally a beautiful play call where they do the check screen right here against the blitz, get a great run by Danny Ware into the end zone.
I don't want to say they threw it under to Ware.
Well, yeah.
But they did.
Again, going to be the three-headed monster for the Giants. But I think in all of those good things that you saw, the one thing that I see that's missing, again, the deep ball to Plexico Burress, the ability to stretch the football field. You cannot be one-dimensional even if you have a great running game, which the Giants do.
Well, they missed Toomer, too. I mean, but
yes, Amani Toomer,
but that line is good.
Stretching.
Talked about it ahead of time, and that defensive line kept coming. Delhomme just trying to settle things. Right?
Well, look.
D'Angelo Williams, he can run the ball. Let's sit him, right?
Yeah. Not a lot of consistency with that offense of the Carolina Panthers.
Speaking of teams that like to
Celebrating 50 years of the AFL, 2 AFL matchups in the 40th season of Monday Night Football open up in a few weeks. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, second half. For Giants fans, maybe they'll see a little bit of their receiving future in this half, Josh.
Yeah, Akeem Nicks, their #1 draft choice, has missed a lot of training camp. He's not as far along as they would like. But I'm excited about seeing Ramses Barden. We're at training camp. Big guy, big body, 6'6", 227 pounds. And what impressed me about him is that he can run. He gets that stride going. He's running by corners.
Coach, I know our Panthers fans down in the Carolina area, they want to know, is this the kind of defense we're going to see? It's not the defense that you got up against a couple times a year.
It's a lot different. They were very vanilla, didn't do much in the first half. They're missing a couple key players. I don't expect to see a lot more tonight. Hopefully you'll see a little bit more in coming weeks.
Sonaris Moss won't take this kickoff back. The Giants will take over at their own 20. Part of that is Ron Meeks taking over as the new defensive coordinator for the Panthers. And that's always one thing with so many changes at coordinator, 20+ in the NFL this year. Preseason, how much of your hand do you show? Maybe you save some stuff so week 1 it looks different. We know what Ron Meeks has done with the Colts, and that'll be interesting to see if we can get those speed rushers going here with the Panthers.
I think they want to play their base defense and get a good look at how their players play. And in fairness to these young guys right here, this is their first game.
The Giants go to their third quarterback, Andre Woodson, to start the third quarter. And out of Kentucky, Woodson throws for a short game. And while we have a second, Susie Colbert spoke to John Fox, the head coach of the Panthers. Suze?
Right, well, here's your answer to what John Fox was thinking about his defense, especially in the first quarter as the Giants were running the ball down their throat. And he said they played simple. They used just one front. And obviously, the Giants are a good run team, but he is definitely not freaked out by it, Mike.
Save it for when it matters. The first week of the season, a month away.
You know, still blocking and tackling. They got blocked and they didn't tackle.
Panthers open at home against Philadelphia on the first Sunday of the season. Dwayne Wright, rookie running back, caught that last pass. Now he blocks for Danny Ware. Works his way close to a first down. Morton Lee Ivy made the tackle. I mentioned there's a new quarterback in the game. Andre Woodson, sixth round pick, of the Giants last year. On the practice squad throughout the entire season, has done a very good job losing about 20 pounds in the offseason. And Ron mentioned the quarterback coach, Chris Palmer. He says he's tightened up his throwing motion, lighter on his feet. And maybe there's a little bit of hope for Andre Woodson.
Yeah, I was impressed out of practice when we were out up in Albany at the training camp for the Giants. But the stroke is still a little bit long, a little slow getting it out of his hand. But certainly when it does come out, it's got some mustard on it.
First down run to the 34-yard line for Danny Ware. Quentin Teal made the tackle.
That's a classic case right there. 3rd down and 2. The New York Giants call more runs on 3rd and 2 to 4 than any team in football. And they do a nice job again blocking the counter play. Good finish by Ware.
See that big old 13 break in the huddle for the Giants. That's the man Jaws was talking about a moment ago. 6'6" Ramses Barton, 3rd round pick out of Cal Poly. Making his Giants preseason debut tonight. Waiting is Dan Connor for the running back Ware. Going to drop a couple of yards there.
You know, Dan Connor was the talk of Carolina's camp last year. This is one of the all-time leading tacklers in Penn State history. They're happy to have him back, and they're going to need him. If you're going to play a 4-3 defense, you're going to need 3 linebackers, Jaws, that can run and hit.
And especially you're going to try to defend with 7 in the box, playing that cover 2. You got to have very active linebackers.
On 2nd and 12, Woodson escapes the pocket, throws, it's intercepted. Picked off by Quentin Teal, who takes it to the 30-yard line. So Woodson waiting for some of his receivers to come back to him, didn't get much help. And as you saw one guy, Teal steps in.
I think if you watch it again, Andre's got to know the tight end stayed in the block, the halfback stayed in the block. I've only got 2 guys out in the route. Poor decision throwing back against the grain. Don't want to do that as a young quarterback.
You and I must make a pact.
Without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Oh, the Panther defense comes up with its first turnover here in the first preseason game, and the Giants give the ball to Carolina. So as Andre Woodson and Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, figure out what went wrong there. The other 3rd string, who's number 3, Matt Moore, checks in for the Panthers. 3rd year out of Oregon State. Started 3 games in 07. Had a quick toss to Mike Goodson. Nice run by Goodson. Trevante Johnson knocks him out of bounds.
Well, if Goodson can hold on to the football, you can see the explosive speed as he turned the corner.
Carolina does a lot of this, Jaws. Just a token fake to the fullback, try to get the linebackers to step up. Then they pitch the ball to a guy like Goodson on the edge. You see the speed. I felt that.
Oof, man, and Dave Tollefson just froze there. The defensive end, they kind of ran that option off him.
Gain of 16 to the 14. Goodson out of Texas A&M. Put it on the ground twice in the first half. Able to elude Tollefson again and use that speed toward the end zone and in. Touchdown. So Goodson.
What a stop. Wow. You know, there's nothing more exciting than seeing young players make plays. John Fox might have found something here in Goodson. This guy right here, watch the cutback run by Goodson, and put the ball on the outside arm if you can, but Turn it on and great finish.
But unexcusable at the end of the play. Then he makes the throat-cutting sign and gets a taunting flag that's thrown in the end zone.
Yeah, he'll learn from that.
Well, he should know. You can't do it in college either.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting number 33 of the offense for a throat slash. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Yeah, just stupid. I mean, you just make a great run, give the ball the official.
First touchdown. It's a preseason game. I know. First night you put on an NFL uniform. No, I'm not making excuses,
okay.
Jaws. What I was going to say is that you kind of ruined that moment.
Yeah.
With something like that.
Well, you did.
There's no excuse. It's not an NFL rule. You can't do that in college. He had 16 and 14-yard runs in 31 seconds. Extra point added by John Casey. 14-9. Do the run. Don't do that. During the timeout, John Fox over to Mike Goodson. Congrats for doing the touchdown. Now understand how you have to act there. 15 yards cost our team, including not make a good impression of yourself to the nation.
John Fox is a good one, Jaws. He knows how to relate to these guys, and he might have found something here with this young back Goodson out of A&M.
Pretty obvious to me.
Carolina carries 2 kickers. Reese Lloyd does their kickoffs. And John Casey does the field goals. Here is Sean Bottaford. Giant receiver took advantage of the 15-yard penalty. Giants take over at the 44-yard line. You mentioned John Fox. You saw him twice a year for 7 years. What makes it tough to go against him?
Tough thing about John Fox is his teams are always prepared. He's always going to have a very good kicking game. He's going to have a very physical defensive football team. They don't make mistakes. They're fundamentally sound. His players relate to him. You met 7 or 8 Carolina Panthers last night. He surrounds himself with high-profile, character-type guys. You're looking at one of them right there. There's another one.
From the 44, it is another Danny Ware run. A flag comes down as Ware is taken down by Jeremy Lehman and Dan Connor as well. Susie Culver reports her conversation with Tom Coughlin at halftime. Coach, large praise for Danny Ware.
Offense, number 79. The penalties decline. Second down.
Guy Wimper, backup tackle flag there. Coughlin very happy with the 3rd running back, Danny Ware.
Danny Ware is the guy they wanted to see. And not only as a rusher, but as a receiver, he impressed me tonight, Ron.
He actually did a good job in a couple of those pickups of blitzers as well, which in those nickel situations get a lot of exotic looks. I thought Ware did a very good job of picking up the blitz.
9 touches, 58 yards for Ware here tonight. Another good one from the rookie out of Illinois, Lehman, submarining in for the tackle.
Second down draw play, just a good job by Lehman on the backside, beating the offside guard to the ball carrier. Just a good instinctive play.
Absolutely diagnosed the play well and attacked him, blew it up at the line of scrimmage.
Here's Akeem Nicks, number 18. He's just checked in the game for the Giants, so now we'll get a chance to see Akeem Nicks split wide to the left here. First rounder out of North Carolina.
Bottom of the first round, has not had a great camp thus far for the Giants. Woodson through the hands of Ware and almost into the hands of Dante Wesley. And we'll 4th down. Everett Brown, 2nd round pick for the Panthers this year, brought the pressure.
You'll see number 91, Everett Brown, attack. Look at that shoulder dip to come underneath. Spins back to the inside. Does a really good job of locating the quarterback and rerouting his body to get pressure.
Very good finish.
Yes. Like an old Derek Thomas. Dip move coming up the field.
Good kick by Feagles. How many times has that been said? Huh? Ryan Robinson lets it go. It's out at the 8.
Yeah. Feagles must sleep with a football. This guy is unbelievable.
He's 43. Almost as old as Gruden.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And State Farm, to us, nothing's more important than being there.
Truly is nothing like it in the world, huh? New York City. Energy, the excitement. In Times Square, 1, 2 in the morning, people walking around. It's as bright as middle of the afternoon, all the neon lights flashing. DeCorey Birmingham, 4th running back on the depth chart for the Panthers, comes in. Free agent a couple of years ago out of Alabama. Virtually no game for Birmingham. Arkansas, I meant to say. Got Birmingham and Alabama on the mind there. You see, these are the guys, when they play now, is so important. A couple of years in the practice squad, you kind of run out of your chances to go there. And if it's not this team you're playing for, it's showing on tape that maybe there's something for another team to pick you up. 2 yards for Birmingham there. Good tackle by Tollefson.
Here's a good look at the rookie, Mike Goodson. Nice cutback run on the inside zone. Here's a pitch sweep to the outside. You see the perimeter speed. And he finishes it off right here with another cutback run. Good vision, great acceleration. Just watch what you do after you score, Mike. Learn from that. Great start for the rookie, though.
Somebody's got to be that guy if Jonathan Stewart doesn't make it through a full season. To me, the compliment of D'Angelo Williams. Matt Moore's throw is complete to the tight end Dante Rosario. Bruce Johnson comes up and makes the tackle, and the Panthers are 3 and out. And they'll have to punch it away with Jason Baker. Rosario caught 18 balls last year and a touchdown.
Remember that big catch against San Diego?
Week 1 in the end zone.
Yeah.
Go back to Jeff Fiegel's jaws. Jeff Fiegel's pins you back deep in your territory, and he really helps the Giants with field position.
He can flip the field for you.
Sonaris Moss kick return opportunity from the 33. Only a return of 5. There's a tackle made by Joe Fields for the Panthers. Approaching the halfway mark, third quarter, 5-point Giant lead.
Warren. $100 combined cash allowance or 0% financing for 72 months.
Future on the left, present on the right, or so they hope for Carolina. Everett Brown was taken in the 2nd round. Tried to be a bookend pass rusher along with Julius Peppers. 70.5 sacks for the number 2 overall pick in the 2002 draft. And since he's come in the league, few have been more productive in terms of sacking the quarterback. And who knows, maybe we'll see Brown and Peppers become a 3rd down bookend pass rush threat as the season goes on.
I think that's what they're hoping for, that's for sure. If you're going to play that 2 deep zone, you're going to need those ends to make plays and put pressure on the quarterback. That's the key to that cover 2 scheme, getting the heat on the quarterback.
Andre Woodson, once again a quarterback on cue, brought down by Brown.
There he is. Take a look at the rookie, Everett Brown. Julius Peppers, his mentor, he loves it. Good get off by Everett Brown against Beatty again. Pull and jerk and attack. I like what I'm seeing right here from Everett Brown. Got a nice little arsenal of moves. Got good speed to get the corner. Good long arms. He's playing hard right now.
Yeah, but Beatty was going short. It was a 3-step drop, short step. The ball's got to come out. It shouldn't have been a sack.
After the loss of 7, Danny Ware nowhere to go. But would not go down. Some of that hard running we talked about earlier. Another tackle by Lehman. Jeremy Lehman.
Lehman's been very active tonight.
Well, you guys talked about it earlier with Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator, who was in Indianapolis with the Colts, with Freeney and Robert Mathis on the ends, and that kind of pressure. Speed and not the tallest guys.
Well, these guys not only rush the passer, they chase plays down. They get after screens and draws. They're just hard to deal with. And they're hoping Everett Brown becomes their version of a Mathis. No question.
3rd and 17. That's a pass caught by Ramses Barton. The 3rd-round pick gets the 1st down. Barton scored a touchdown in 32 straight games. Broke the Jerry Rice record. And he's in college.
Yeah, Ramses Barton here, number 13, in the slot, comes out and just sticks to the outside, gets the sticks, first down. Good job of snapping the head around, catching the football. Good timing from Andre Woodson. But quite honestly, if you're Sherrod Martin, you got to turn around and see that ball coming. You might pick it off, at least knock it down.
The pickup was 20. C.J. Wilson out of Baylor, who's battling for the nickelback job, was injured. Let's take a look back at Barton. His performance at Cal Poly at 6'6". Obviously, the competition a little bit different. Junior, 124 catch year. He had 50 touchdowns in his 4 seasons. That's second in what used to be 1AA, now known as the Football Championship subdivision.
Those are the kind of guys I like on my team. 6'6". He's a great kid. The thing that really impressed me about him is Eli Manning said he really gets it. He asks all the right questions. He's on time. He wants to know how to become great. He plucks it. He reaches for it, catches it in his hands. He's a dominant force down in this tight red zone area. That's the guy they need to step up and replace a guy like Plaxico Burress because he has the same physical traits.
Yeah, Coach, I had one of those guys in my playing days, Harold Carmichael at 6'7". You get in that red zone every time you saw an isolation route where I can get Harold one-on-one, I was going to him. The old alley-oop, very effective.
That's good reasoning. Get a big guy down there, tight red zone, get the ball.
Well, remember when Plaxico Burress was here, Eli Manning talked about that high radius, that huge radius with Burress's arms of where he could throw a ball that Burress could get. There's a deep shot downfield for Hakeem Nicks, the #1 overall pick for the Giants this year, first rounder. Dante Wesley in coverage.
The one thing the Giants have been accentuating in training camp has been the deep ball. They're going to try to manufacture some explosive plays. Go maximum protection. Give the quarterback time. Throw the ball deep down the field. Give your wide receiver a chance to go up and take it away. As a Hakeem Nicks right now was pretty well covered, but went up and made an attempt to get the football. You got to take your shots down the field.
Ware runs for a couple of yards. One of the measurable things that jumped out of training camp and the combine was how big Nicks's hands were. They needed XXXXL gloves for Hakeem Nicks, and they showed some of that against West Virginia. Terrific bowl game there, all ACC his couple of years at North Carolina. 14 receiving records for the Tar Heels. That'll be offside on the Panthers.
A guy like Hakeem Nicks shows up at the combine, pulls a hamstring.
Defense, number 93, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Pulls a hamstring at Indy. Gets drafted by the Giants. He's overweight. Hasn't really performed extremely well in training camp. A lot of static in the radio, as I call it. A lot of these young players, they don't see things clearly. He's really struggled. He's a first-round draft choice. He's got a lot of pressure on him. And Ramses Barton's outplayed him. And it's important that Nicks picks it up, gets himself into great shape, makes some plays here because the Giants are counting on him.
Well, getting that press one-on-one to the outside. You're getting an opportunity to make a play.
On 3rd and 4, Woodson comes the other way. And incomplete with C.J. Wilson. Coverage on Sean Botiford. So 4th down. You mentioned Nicks in the combine with the weight problem. After he pulled the hamstring, weight went up, and that's some of the reason his draft stock slipped. And he got toward the back end of the 1st round, 29th overall. He says once that hamstring got healthy, he dropped the weight quick, got back to shape, but that hamstring has troubled him again at times during training camp. Nicks went to school at North Carolina. The punter here is Jeff Fiegels. Another one knocked inside the 20. The freshman punter at North Carolina this year, C.J. Fiegels, Jeff's son. Well, the other tenant here of the stadium, the New York Jets, and they've made some news with their quarterback position in the offseason. We'll see them Monday night against the Baltimore Ravens, and we will see Mark Sanchez as the starting quarterback. The Jets' first-round pick out of USC opened the door on his Jets career in this stadium a few nights ago with a big pass to David Clowney. And immediately Jet fans are booking their tickets to Canton for 2020 in the Mark Sanchez Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, and for bonus, he gets the Ravens defense. Thank you very much.
Flag down to Corey Birmingham with the catch from Matt Moore. Well, what do you guys think of Sanchez?
Well, you got to like Sanchez. You wish he would have stayed in school in some ways to get some more experience. But you know what? He came out. Jets traded up to get him. The guy does have skills. He's operated a pro-style attack at USC. You've seen him make all the throws, 3-step, 5-step, 7-step. He's got enough arm, but does he have enough time to get ready? Because he only has 3 days now to get ready for the Ravens.
That's right.
And I guarantee
all those looks they're going to give you. But I got to be honest with you. When I studied Mark Sanchez coming out, I was a little bit concerned. I did not see enough throws from his games at USC that projected to the NFL. He was always well protected. It seemed like their talent was much better than the defense, and there were many, many times he had way too much time in that pocket to deliver the football.
A tripping penalty was called on Jeff Schwartz of the Panthers, and Birmingham runs it to the sideline, taken out at the 9. Wait a minute, John, you said unfortunately he came out. You would like to see him stay in school another year. Are you one of those guys who believes in that get the final year eligibility out of the quarterback, don't come out early?
I think so. I think quarterbacks play better in the NFL when they've gone through their entire college careers. The thing I concern myself with a little bit with Mark Sanchez is I never saw him play really when he was behind in the fourth quarter of a game, other than the Oregon State game, which they lost. I want to see a little bit more body of work before a guy comes out and give a fifth pick in the draft.
I like to see a quarterback get beat up and bloodied a little bit too, and how he responds to that. Throw out of that well with bodies around you. I mean, he had a very good football team around him. I don't think he was tested in that regard. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a great player in this league, and I'm not saying that by any stretch of imagination, but I think the learning curve is going to be a little bit longer for him.
Jarris Wilkinson knocked down that pass.
Well, there's no question. If you just do the research, other than Ben Roethlisberger, not a lot of juniors have come into the league and really lit it up.
Right.
I just think it's a maturation process. It's going to take some time, but the guy has charisma, and he certainly has New York fired up. There's a lot of
you know how to fire him up, play well. That's the bottom line. You know, for a rookie to have success in this league, it's very difficult. I know Flacco and Matt Ryan really turned it upside down a year ago, but, you know, you just study history. It's difficult for a rookie quarterback to come in and play well unless you have an incredible supporting cast around you.
Gained by Birmingham, but let's see if it holds up. I believe there's a flag on the Panthers here. Giants can decline it, make it 4th and 1, or take the flag and make it 3rd and a whole bunch.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 74 was not on the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Not a great series for Jeff Schwartz, last year's 7th round pick out of Oregon. A couple of flags there, so Carolina will kick it away. And one more look at Sonaris Moss deep to receive the punt for the Giants. Moss got a run to come get this at the 41. I don't know if he got down because he tripped or he was brilliant. Didn't want to take that hit from Captain Munnerlin coming down. Well, oh, by the way, while Philadelphia was announcing Michael Vick's signing, Tom Brady did return and was 10 of 15 for 100 yards and a pick. And Carson Palmer came back for the first time since an elbow injury. Sidelined him last season. 7 of 11, 133 yards, and the Bengals' 10-point loss to New Orleans. So 2 big-name quarterbacks returning to the lineup last week.
Now that gets my blood pumping. You know, so much talk last week about Michael Vick returning to football is a great story, but lost in that jaws was the fact that Carson Palmer and the great Tom Brady are back on the sidelines, and they are 2 outstanding quarterbacks.
Now, they were scheduled to play because Cincinnati plays New England on Thursday, but Palmer had a mild to moderate high ankle sprain, will not play in the game Thursday. But Palmer said today it's not that bad.
Well, but Carson Palmer is going to need work in the preseason. But I agree with you, Coach. I get all lathered up when I see Carson Palmer, Tom Brady back. You know, I still believe Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, two of the elite quarterbacks in this league. And a couple years ago, I had Carson Palmer in that group till the injury. So it's good to see. We all know in the National Football League, it's a quarterback's game. A good, solid quarterback, consistent quarterback gives you your best chance to win. And it's all about percentages.
Former LSU Tiger, Marlon Favorite, made that play a moment ago. Setting up 2nd and 13. Andre Woodson getting this 3rd quarter. We figured to see Red Bomar, Giant 5th-round pick, play quarterback in the 4th quarter.
It's just not happening quick enough for Andre Woodson. He's got to be more decisive with those decisions. He's standing back there waiting for a receiver to come open. You go with your audible, which you did there, to slant flat, plant that foot, and throw the football. You just can't stand back there waiting for someone to get open.
Well, defense like this can frustrate you. They just don't give you a lot of windows to throw the football. You got to know that. Be willing to check the football down.
Exactly. Go through that progression.
3rd and 13. Woodson gets it to Ware. Giants run that play often well, but Carolina, nice job to make the stop. Mortley, Ivy, and Captain Munnerlyn. I mentioned his name a moment ago, number 41. He's been one of the players who has opened some eyes at the Panthers training camp the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Captain Munnerlyn, the 7th-round draft choice out of South Carolina. How's that, South Carolina? Visiting Coach Spurrier last year for a spring clinic. I said, who is that guy? He says, that's the captain. He's had a great camp. He's had a great camp. John Fox is really excited about him.
Was that a very slight Spurrier imitation you were giving us there for a second? Nice. You and the ball coach together, that would be priceless. I'd pay for that. Touchback by Feagles, ball come out to the 20-yard line.
Coach still going to those clinics, you know, always trying to learn something.
Always trying to get better. There's a lot of football out there. We're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about Sanchez, Carson Palmer. What if you don't have one of these quarterbacks, Jaws?
Oh, I know.
Maybe you got to go study the old Wildcat. Learn a little bit about the spread option.
Boy,
I've been in that laboratory. I've learned some really interesting ways to attack, Jaws.
We need to let America in our secret before we unleash this thing on them.
Yeah.
For the last 2 weeks, nonstop, Gruden has been professing his love for the Wildcat. And you're about to hear why. Matt Moore, deep ball. Ryan Robinson trying to fight to get open, incomplete. All right, Mr. Wildcat, take us to school.
Back in the laboratory.
We all run the 97 power to the offensive left, and the old-fashioned quarterback turns around and hands the ball off to the tailback. Everybody in pro football runs 97 power out of a 2-back set with the quarterback on the give. But what happens when you take the quarterback and you split him out? The defense has to expand. They're a defender short in the box, and they run 97 power with a direct snap to the tailback or a wildcat. The results speak for themselves, guys. This wildcat, it's all over the place. It's going to be a revolution this year in the National Football League. Trust me.
Excuse me? A revolution?
Is that a good word? Revolution. It's all over the place. These wildcat formations are unbelievable. I had Chip Kelly, the head coach at Oregon, come down and spend some time with me. If you could see some of these running lanes, Jaws, it's unbelievable. And I really think Bill Parcells, a lot of these wildcat guys are going to show you that I'm right.
3rd and 7 here. Moore throws. Complete to Robinson. Ryan gets the first down at 31.
Let me show you some more right here. This is just a conventional toss sweep. Quarterback, reverse pivot, toss the ball to the tailback. John Beeson, the middle linebacker, he just keys flow. The center can't get him. He makes a routine tackle. He's the hard guy to block. But when you run it in the Wildcat, I'll show you what kind of versatility you have. It's a totally different ball
It's
game.
a nice changeup. It'll never be a staple in the National Football League. And I know you're going to talk about Pat White, and he can do it. And, you know, one of the great collegiate quarterbacks, Tim Tebow, when he comes out, they'll be doing it. I believe the quarterback will just get beat up.
Good job by Moore. Complete there to Marcus Monk, the wide receiver. First down. There's more.
Hey, same play. Let's run the toss sweep again out of the Wildcat formation. There is no quarterback. I'm going to use a direct snap, and I'm going to fool a Pro Bowl middle linebacker like Urlacher. Why? Because the Wildcat replaces the quarterback. We fake the ball to Michael Turner. Brian Urlacher can't find the ball. If Brian Urlacher can't find the ball, you ain't finding the ball. There's a lot of good stuff coming.
For 9 days, Mike, he was looking for these plays to get him out of it. We got him.
If we just had a...
Birmingham with the carry, 2 yards. So we found the hot button, Jaws.
Yeah.
Now, can you take the finger off? That's the question. Now, when we come back to the fourth quarter here, I want to find out why you think this can work on a little wider basis this year, and why you have reservations about it working going forward in the NFL.
Well, it can work because it has worked. The Miami Dolphins went from 1-15 to 11-5.
On the Wildcat alone.
I have proof.
On the Wildcat alone.
That's
it.
We'll talk in the fourth quarter.
Defenses have to adjust.
You know, Chad Pennington did a pretty good job. The Wildcat.
You got to get an extra defender in the box, or you're in trouble. And if the Wildcat,
we will be back for more of this.
We're really going to be in trouble.
The neighborhoods of New York. Summertime outside Little Italy, little cannoli around this time, right? 10:24 after dinner. Nice pasta. Fourth quarter here at the Meadowlands Giants Stadium. Mike Tirico, John Wildcat Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Culper on the sideline. Ravens Jets next Monday night, and then we'll see the Vikings and Texans to wrap up our preseason. Corey Birmingham's been busy, and the Arkansas back takes it for a first down. The 35. I mentioned Arkansas because that's where it all began. The Wildcat. Jaws, why don't you think it can be a steady dive?
It cannot be a staple. I believe it's a great change-up to get the defense off guard. No question that it averaged 5.3 per rush as opposed to 4.2 for normal NFL offenses running in football. That's a positive. But I'll guarantee you start running your quarterback out wide, they're going to put a safety over his nose, they're going to puncture his lung so he can't go back in there and play quarterback again. They're going to beat him up. It's exactly what NFL defenses will do. They will beat the quarterback up.
You're a little sensitive because you NFL veteran quarterbacks, you're like a caddy. You guys are going to be replaced by golf carts. The Wildcat can do everything a quarterback can do.
Take your quarterback out of the game and for 8 or 10 snaps? I believe you lose the whole rhythm of your offense with your quarterback lined up as a wide receiver, standing on the sideline for some guy to come in and give you 8 to 10 snaps a game.
What if that guy's Michael Vick in Philadelphia?
Oh, gee.
I knew that was wrong.
What if it's Michael Vick?
I think Donovan McNabb's
Michael Vick.
I think Donovan McNabb's a pretty good quarterback. Why take your quarterback out and line up as a wide receiver and have him get beat up for the 8 or 10 snaps? That may or may not work. Now, I'm not diminishing Michael Vick's talents because we've seen him for years what he can do. I don't know if he's at that point right now, but we know the capabilities he has in that spread option offense.
Moore's pass incomplete. Just to bring up back to the Giants here for a second in the NFC East, because you know as soon as that news hit on Thursday night in Washington and Dallas and with the Giants, it's like, hey guys, we got something new thrown on our plate here to talk about going forward. So ironically enough, get the next day after the Vick signing in Philadelphia, Friday, and up in Albany, the state capital of New York, 2.5 hours away, Giants training camp. Giants are practicing with their first-team defense against the Wildcat. What do you know?
Yeah, but Tom Coughlin had scripted those 12 days of training camp months ago. It just so happened it fell on the day we came there.
Moore was hit by Clint Sintum, and that's one of the big pass-rushing experts that the Giants hope to add to that great group up front, recovered by the Giants.
Look at Clint Sintum. He had a history of this at Virginia. A 3-4 outside linebacker that's converting himself to a defensive end. Just a good get-off, good rip with the inside arm, and a great finish.
What a great genetic talent. Woo, man, that body edge.
Giants ball. Carolina coach John Fox has chosen to challenge the ruling on the field. That would have been a fumble and the fourth turnover by his team in Giants ball. Clint Sintum around the edge. Does the empty hand come through without the ball? One key to look at to see if it was a fumble or an incomplete forward pass.
Well, we have an expert in the booth here that could break this one down. Coach?
Well, I know it's not the tuck rule because that was explained to me carefully for the last 6 years. That's a fumble.
It does look pretty clear to be a fumble, and a good rush by Sintum. Got past Dante Rosario there. Tight end trying to block.
I think more importantly, Jaws, Sintum, there's another New York Giant. He looks like Justin Tuck. He looks like OC. These guys are all good-looking, long-armed, athletic pass rusher types. And Bill Sheridan, the defensive coordinator who took over for Coach Spagnuolo, they're going to use these guys so creatively. I feel sorry for the teams that have to line up and play these guys.
That was interesting. We went into their training camp. We looked at some tape.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a fumble recovered by the New York Giants. That will be Carolina's first charge timeout.
We looked at some tape, and we saw Sintum in pass coverage. Didn't look real good in that area. And, we looked at more tape, and we saw him in those one-on-one drills, his hand in the ground. You could see where his talent is. It's rushing the quarterback. It's going to take some time for him to learn the drops, the angles in the pass game. But I'll tell you what, this is a guy who say, hey, get down that 4-point stance like OC, get after the quarterback, and you got yourself a player.
You mentioned Sinton, who caused that turnover from Virginia, where part of that extended Giant family along the way is Al Groves, the head coach, University of Virginia, was one of the defensive coaches up here. Alan Patrick out of Oklahoma with a nice run to the 36-yard line. Gain of 29 there for Patrick. Signs a free agent after being on the Browns practice squad a year ago.
And a real collision off tackle between the fullback and number 49, Lehman, but a nice job on the play side G-lead scheme, Jaws. An old school attack. Good cutback run by Patrick.
Well, that's exactly what these Giants are. This is old school smash mouth football power running game. They want to beat you up.
Andre Woodson remaining in the game at quarterback for the Giants. And there's Patrick caught behind the line of scrimmage. Corey Irvin.
Corey Irvin, he's a rookie player here for Carolina. And there you saw the penetration that you didn't see from the Carolina Panthers in the first half. When you go to this 4-3 one-gap scheme, it's all based on penetration. And that's a nice job of disrupting a blocking scheme and forcing a tackle for loss.
Giants first-round draft pick, Akeem Nicks, bottom of the screen. Keeping it on the ground with Patrick. Another tackle by Jeremy Lehman. It's been all over. A lot of running from the Giants. We see that quite often from Kevin Gilbride's team over the last couple of years. Third season as the offensive coordinator with the Giants. Long career and successful career in the league.
I'll tell you, Kevin Gilbride came into this league running and shooting with the Houston Oilers. Led the league in offense. Over and over again, the Houston Oilers were throwing it all over the lot. He's had great success in Jacksonville leading pass offenses. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, changes his mindset, and now he's running an offensive attack that is predicated on running the football. So you talk about a diverse offensive football coach, Kevin Gilbride. He's one of the best in this business.
The pass was caught by the Giants' third-round pick, tight end Travis Beckham out of Wisconsin. Shy of the first down. He'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for a coordinator to change. And that's what's so beautiful about what Kevin Gilbride did. He believed in those run-and-shoot concepts in the passing game. I remember a number of times discussing that with Kevin. I would never have thought, but he has had an epiphany. He has gone to his power running game. But he still used those run-and-shoot concepts in the passing game very effectively.
46-yard field goal attempt for Lawrence Tynes. Missed one earlier from a few yards closer. Knocks this one through, and the Giants have an 8-point lead. 17-9.
Later on SportsCenter, issues at Raiders camp as Tom Cable allegedly breaks an assistant's jaw. Donovan McNabb talks about playing with Michael Vick. And in progress highlights Manny versus Albert. SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
The Giants won this division, always a stout division in the NFC. Just want to show you Philadelphia's division games. And quite interesting, their first division game doesn't come until we see them on a Monday night in Washington. That would be by the time Michael Vick would be eligible to play. He's going to be eligible to play by week 6 if he's fully reinstated by the commissioner. Some sliding scale. It could be earlier, but for sure it will be once the Eagles start playing their division games. So that's why everybody in the division, Giants, Redskins, and Cowboys, a little extra on their defensive plates once the Eagles acquired Vic. Larry Beavers with the return to the 27-yard. So, Coach, give a little defensive lab for the coaches in the NFC East.
Tell you what I'd do if I had Michael Vick is I would install the spread option, and I'd hand that ball off to Westbrook right there, and if they don't squeeze, I'm going to give it. But if I hand the ball to Westbrook and that defensive end or linebacker closes, guess what? I'm going to tell Vick, you read it and you keep it. And in 2006, Michael Vick had over 1,000 yards rushing. There were 300 of them in that game because I was there. Michael
saw everyone.
is not a real wildcat. He's just a really good cat. He can do it all. Run, throw, he can do everything, Jaws. And I think it's right down the street.
It's amazing how the timing of when we're going to see them on Monday night, it could not have been better. I want to get a seatbelt to put you in the seat, hold you down. You're going to be so excited.
Hunter Cantwell is the new quarterback out of Louisville, and he hands it off to Jamal Lee.
You know, last week you were killing me about this Starship 7, all the jerseys they were selling. But I want you to know they sold 3,516 of these this year. These throwback pocket passer jerseys still work in Philadelphia.
Wow.
And I want you to take that home. Happy birthday. It's a little present for you.
Thanks,
hey, there you go.
See what you get for your birthday? Isn't that nice,
And if
huh?
you're nice, I'll autograph it for you, too.
Geez.
Unbelievable.
No. The value will go down if you autograph it.
Where'd you get this? Was this buried underneath the old vet?
Hey, I got friends in Reebok. They take care of me.
First throw for Hunter Cantwell.
Starship 7 right there.
Knocked down by Jonathan Goff. Let's know who the new quarterback is here for the Panthers. Their fourth string. Rookie out of Louisville, Hunter Cantwell. You know Brian Brom, who's battling up there in the Packers' backup job. Cantwell followed Brom at Louisville. Only started 4 games his first 3 years because Brom set records there, and then in his last year, completed about 60% of his balls, 16 touchdowns, 16 picks. Getting his first look in the NFL here tonight. Nearly intercepted. Sharif Rashad out of Central Florida. Almost had that one. Flag on the play, back by the quarterback.
Offense, number 76. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tell you what, this is exciting to me. Here he comes again. Clint Sentham, the rookie out of Virginia. Just a great job of getting the corner. That's an obvious hold. This guy has had a great factor grade tonight. He's disrupted a lot of plays. He's gotten to the quarterback and caused holding penalties. I like the look of this guy.
The Giants do such a great job with their defensive line exploding off the football. Here around the 4th quarter with a Clint Sentham, and he's exploding into the backfield.
Incredible number of guys who can pressure the quarterback. Really is. Oh. Jason Baker's punt was short. Kevin McMahon, receiver, chased down. Giants to take over the 45-yard line, leading by 8.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by the Boost Mobile $50 monthly unlimited plan. Radio Shack. Come to the Shack. Find the right products at the right price. Radio Shack. And Toyota. Moving forward.
Mentioned summer in the city, and the neon lights are bright. Just off Broadway there, Times Square in the 40s in Manhattan. People from all over there to see New York in the summer. Come see some great shows, Rock of Ages among others. 5th round pick Rhett Bomar out of Sam Houston State. In there at quarterback for the Giants. So he hands to Alan Patrick. No gain there. We got a Sports Center right now coming your way, and here's Mike Hill.
All right, guys, time running out. The Nats to get first overall pick Steven Strasburg signed. The team facing a midnight deadline to get a deal done or lose the pitching phenom's rights. Nats reportedly have offered $12.5 million. The Brett Favre, the Minnesota book, not fully closed yet. Jake Laser of FoxSports.com reporting that several unnamed Vikings have told him they expect Favre to still play with them this season. Stay tuned. Sports Center after the game.
An unnamed Viking. Are you kidding me? Have some courage. Just say something. Put your name to it.
Patrick runs left for about 1.5 yards. Kelvin Smith making the tackle on him. Honestly, it might be December, and that story might still be out there. It's incredible.
Hey, Mike, I got to ask the coaches. How do you feel you pick up the paper next day and it's an unnamed source of the Buccaneers, a player? How do you handle that?
Well, you try to tell your players, honestly, the first day or two of training camp, don't be the unnamed source. Don't feel like you have to be the spokesman for the football team. But if you keep an appointment with the media, keep it. If you can't keep it, you can always use me as an excuse.
There you go. There you go.
From the 47, Bomar gets in the way of a defensive meeting at the quarterback. Quinton Teal and Casper Brinkley the sack.
Blitz. Mike, when you get into these empty backfield sets, defense is automatic to a blitz. And you have to anticipate that whether you're a rookie quarterback or a 10th-year veteran. Here's John Fox automatic into an all-out blitz, and there's nobody blocking Teal coming off the corner.
Why did you do that when Eli Manning was in there? He waited till Red Bomar comes in to bring the heat. The first quarter they played vanilla.
Fiegels, the lone punter in Giant camp, with the kick, and taken out of bounds by Larry Beers. Halfway through, fourth quarter.
Are you ready for the football? The New Look Bills are out to flip the page, but Brady is back taking center stage. Get those helmets crashing, the crowd is sight. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
It'll be fun. Doubleheader opening up. Be in Patriots place. See Tom Brady and the Patriots. Tom Brady returning to the New England Patriots after missing all but the first quarter last year.
I'm more excited probably than anybody. I missed him. I know the New England Patriot fans will be going crazy when he comes out of that tunnel.
Remember when Joe Montana came back? The people were like crying in the stands. You know, it's gonna be the same for Brady. Look at this throw. Ooh.
Cantwell's pass incomplete, trying to get to Kevin McMahon. It went down as the ball came to him. Mentioned earlier, Bill Sheridan is the new defensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo moving to the St. Louis Rams as the head coach. And Bill was here on the staff for the last 3 years. How much is going to change, Jaws, for this defense?
Well, it's all about pressure. Steve Spagnuolo, Bill Sheridan, it's all about pressure on the quarterback. And when you look at what they do, they want to rotate 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 defensive linemen and put them in those pass rush situations.
Jamal Lee, carry.
And when you look at the Giants defense like I have for years, it starts with A-gap pressure. This is very unique. You'll see right there, there's A-gap pressure between the center and the 2 guards. They want to force your offensive line into mistakes. Here they do a nice job of getting Kiwanuka matched against Westbrook. Westbrook does a good job there, but that's a matchup that normally favors the defense. You get mismatches that favor the defense to get after the quarterback. That's what it's all about. It's a pressure defense that attacks the A-gaps.
Antonio Pierce in the middle of that. The linebacker spot. Bring pressure on Cantwell. His pass is incomplete.
Well, it's funny you speak of that.
There we go.
There it is. One of them's coming, one of them's leaving. You're not quite sure until the ball is snapped. But clearly the Giants create more confusion than any team in defense. And I'd just like to go back and say the late Jim Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles, his legacy that he left behind is certainly all over the face of football with his blitz packages, and we're going to miss Jim Johnson.
No question about it. One of the great innovators in the history of the game.
Spagnuolo was there in Philadelphia coaching under Jim Johnson. Spags leaves here, goes to St. Louis. Bill Sheridan running that defense. You know, Bill will have very interesting weekends. Of course, first year's defensive coordinator here with the Giants, and on Saturdays he'll be keeping a very close eye on what happens with Michigan football. His son Nick, quarterback the Wolverines, as Rich Rodriguez took that program over last year in a battle for the starting job this year. Is Nick Sheridan, but Bill's got a whole bunch of exciting things on his plate for 2009, including running this defense.
Really enjoyed our meeting with Bill Sheridan. He seemed very calm, collected. You know, of course, Tom Coughlin told us we're going to run the same percentage of blitz, all those things. You know, Coach Coughlin pulls out all those computer printout sheets, and we're going to be exactly what we were in the past, even though we have a new coordinator.
Bomar, you may remember, he played in Oklahoma for a year. Hands to Alan Patrick, who finished at Oklahoma and gains about 6 yards. Bomar was a stud coming out of high school in Dallas area, one of those Elite 11 quarterbacks. Started Oklahoma as a redshirt freshman, then involved in a summer job where he took money for hours and not worked at a car dealership. Kicked off the team, so suspended and transferred to Sam Houston State, where he had knee surgery. And then last year came back with some big numbers, big season. Obviously young, developmental. One thing they like is his quick release.
And his nickname is Flick, because that's how quick he gets the ball out of his hand. Just a little flick. Hopefully we'll see that flick, Coach.
You know, you get into these games and you have a 7-point, 8-point lead with 5 minutes left, and typically you want to run the football, eat the clock up, win the football game, and go home. But you have Hakeem Nicks, Ramses Barden. You've got some young guys you want to evaluate in the passing game, and you got a young quarterback too, and he's not getting a lot of reps here other than handing the ball off. You'd like to see him throw the ball, but you certainly understand what these coaches are going through in this situation.
Yeah, the coaches ever get in situations like they have a little game plan amongst themselves. Hey, let's blitz a little bit, or let's play coverage. Do they ever do that?
Absolutely.
Travis Beckham, third-round pick out of Wisconsin, was the move man, 47. That is, let's see, is it held on to? Yes, ruled the catch by Hakeem Nicks for the first down. Gain of 9 for the Giants' first-round pick.
And we saw Rhett Bomar flick it in there. Way to catch the ball. You'll see Nicks coming in, number 18 against the press coverage. Reaches back inside. Good concentration on the football and does hold on.
Those are those 4XL gloves I was talking about. They need those
right.
Huge hands to hang on to them. Be interesting to see if Nicks becomes part of the group that works with Eli Manning this year for the Giants. Bomar got his legs tied up with his offensive lineman as Adam Coates, the center, was coming out of there, and Jeremy Lehman makes another tackle.
Well, that play looked bad from the minute they broke the huddle. They appeared to line up wrong. There was players talking at the line of scrimmage. No one knew what the snap count was. There was tripping. There was fumbling. The Giants are lucky they recovered the football.
Well, when you're pulling linemen, whether you're pulling a guard or you're pulling a tackle, if you have penetration, you're going to have some negative plays. And clearly, in this half, Carolina's done a much better job penetrating the line of scrimmage. There's another instance there.
8-point Giant lead. And a timeout taken by the rookie Bomar. Well, we talked about the inexperience. Guys talk about starts and how many times guys have been around the block. The Giants are a favorite in the NFC in some folks' eyes. A lot of inexperience here. These are career starts for the Giants receivers. So this bottom lines to something simple. One, they're transitioning away from Toomer as he continues with his legal issues. Rather, Fletcher Burris, excuse me, as he continues with his legal issues, and Toomer continues his career in Kansas City. But there's not a #1 receiver as of right now. Giants flirted with that idea to trade, rumors with Anquan Bolden, Braylon Edwards before the draft. Can the Giants be a championship caliber team without a true #1 receiver?
You know, they can be, but it's a lot much more difficult unless you have a #1 receiver. And they hope out of this group that we just hit up on the screen, you know, that they can find that one guy that could be the go-to receiver. Not only to help in the passing game, but to keep those safeties deep in the running game, because they are a running team.
Bomar's throw is brought in by Tay Biddle out of Ole Miss, signed off Detroit's practice squad a year ago.
And Mike, by the way, my sources tell me the Eagles are the favorite in the NFC East. You know, I just saw that whole spread option thing there. I mean, how could they not be the favorites? You know, Coach has me convinced.
You know what I love about the whole NFC East? And the Giants here we're watching tonight, all the stories with the Eagles. The Redskins, you know, talk to every quarterback but Jaws in the offseason.
What are they called?
So quiet out of Dallas. So quiet. I'm hearing nothing this training camp. Camp Calm, Camp Happy. Cowboys will open up their new stadium against the Giants, and then we'll see them against the Panthers on a Monday night. Timeout taken here by John Fox as the Panthers stop the Giants on 3rd down, so maximize the time, try to go get the tying points here, maybe force overtime. We open to the top talking about Eli Manning and the new contract, the $97 million. You know, guys, this is his team now as transition out of the era of Shockey and Barber and Michael Strahan, who we saw earlier. And now Eli's going to be the constant to kind of carry over to this group of Giants going forward.
Well,
people, people say, hey, you know what? I can find quarterbacks with better stats. I can find...
You know, you guys kill me with the stats.
Oh, please.
Okay,
I didn't use many stats tonight. What are you talking about?
The guy never misses a start. You're talking about one of the most durable quarterbacks in football. He happens to play in a run-first offense. That's not his fault. This guy executes the coach's game plan. He's a tremendous leader. What was Bob Greasy's passing stats or percentage when they went 17-0 with those 2,000-yard backs? What were their names? Zonka and Kick?
I remember those guys very well.
Passer rating. This guy's a winner. He never misses a game. He's the most reliable New York Giant. Him and Peyton Manning, I don't know what they eat, but they never miss a game. I love these Mannings. Look at them. Look at that, Josh.
That is pretty amazing.
What was your streak? What was your Iron Man?
116. I mean,
Where's that?
Favre and Peyton crushed me, but hey, we went through all that already, all them stats that I had a long time ago. Well, you got to be honest here, too. They were eliminated in the playoffs, the Giants were, and Eli played a poor game. And you can't discount that. He had receivers open in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. He missed them. Now, we can blame the wind and all those things and talk about all that, but in those pressure situations, your quarterback has to make plays. I love Eli, but I got to be honest about it. He missed guys in that game.
No, he did, but they won the Super Bowl the previous year, and he had a dominant passer rating.
And he's an MVP, and I applaud that.
And they were 11-1. 11-1 last year.
And how'd they finish?
I'll take that guy.
I would too.
Back here in Giant Stadium, 2 minutes left. We'll see the Giants on the road and the Jets on the road a couple of times. So I don't think I'm going to get here. I'm usually occupied on Sundays. This is my last time probably in Giant Stadium. Although actually I think I'd sneak in a Springsteen concert because Bruce has about 5 concerts at the end of September and October to close this place out. And it's a special place. A lot of great things have happened. The final season here, Giants moved just across the parking lot to a new 82,000-seat stadium. Next year, co-tenant with the Jets. 2-minute drill for Hunter Cantwell. Last completion to Larry Beavers. A run for Cantwell to the 43-yard line. First down and a gain of 20 for the kid out of Louisville.
You know, Mike, I'll tell you, I'm not going to shed a tear when this place gets bulldozed down.
Clint Symptom still working.
Just watch the effort. He's going for the sack. The quarterback breaks containment. He's running for a first down, and guess who chases him out of bounds? Clint Symptom, rookie out of Virginia. He is making a real name for himself in this football game.
Interesting to see the second-round pick maybe against the twos next week as the Giants continue their preseason. Cantwell throws it complete to Jason Cherry. Clock still running.
Let's take a look at Clint Symptom right here in space. Good close, nice finish on a tackle. Beating a tight end, playing with your hands. Engage, another hit on the quarterback. Beat the tight end again in pass protection. Factor grade, Clint Symptom. He's going to get a game ball tonight.
Pressure up the middle. Cantwell throws for the first down at the 31-yard line. It was Andrew Davey, the 4th tight end. He too out of Arkansas. So Panthers chance to score and go for the 2-point conversion and tie this game with 72 seconds left. Good throw over the middle to Jason Cherry to the end zone. 17-15. John Fox going for 2 to tie the game. All right, there you go.
Well, a nice drive.
Cantwell did a nice job in the 2-minute drill.
Did an excellent job fielding a poor snap. Just an inside slant to the slot receiver. Poor angle by the safety and a good cutback touchdown. At crunch time, Jaws, that's what you want to see your young quarterback doing, the 2-minute drill.
Absolutely. Make plays when they present themselves. Get the ball out of your hand against pressure. Get into the hands of a playmaker. That's exactly what happened.
Jason Cherry out of Louisiana Lafayette. 2 for the tie. Got it. Cantwell to Andrew Davey. Game tied at 17. Thank you, John.
Carolina Panther football, whether you like the Panthers or not, when you play against John Fox, you are going to play for 60 minutes. And if you're not ready to play in the 60th minute, you're going to lose a football game. He will not let up.
Now let's forget the fact that most of the people you see on the field right now are not going to be on these rosters, okay? Maybe a couple of the Giants guys. We're talking about Cinta. You're the head coach. It's 17-15. You know if you make that, you could be talking about overtime. It's the first preseason game. What would you do, and why would Foxy do what he just did?
We're going to try to win the game. Our players are playing for the right to make the football team. We've got plenty of guys here in the first preseason game, I guarantee you, to complete a short overtime period. But for these guys to march down there at crunch time and give our team ultimately a chance to tie or win the football game and not let them do that, I'm not facing those guys in the locker room.
That's right.
Hey, that explains it to somebody at home who's right. Now, you could have kicked the extra point.
And you would have got beat up on the plane by some of these guys.
Well, as our friend Herman Edwards would say, to play to win the game.
But it goes back to a guy like John Fox. He's been in the league a long time. He's been at Carolina 8 years now. They play to win.
Reese Lloyd would kick off, tied at 17, so the Giants will get a 2-minute drill opportunity, perhaps with Rhett Bomar. Tay Biddle, spilled by Jason Carter, and a marker down as well, with 50 seconds left. These two teams will play, by the way, in the regular season, around the same time they did last year, Week 16.
During the return, holding, number 47 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down, New York Giants.
Last year they played on December 21. This year, December 27. This year, like last, right here, Giants Stadium.
You now have an opportunity for the young players to get more snaps in a real game situation. You cannot replicate this in training camp. You're 9-on-7, you're 1-on-1, you're 7-on-7. Hey, you're playing a game. This is great, great work for the guys that are on the field.
And Andre Woodson comes back in, and Tom Coughlin alluded to this with us on Saturday up in Albany at the Giants camp. He'd like to bring him back in to get a live 2-minute drill for his number 3 quarterback. So for the 17, Woodson. Complete to Derek Hagan at the 23. 40 seconds left. Giants have 2 timeouts left. Carolina 1. Woodson gonna head for the sideline, a yard shy of the first down. 3rd down coming up to 26 with 26 left.
Tom Coughlin is already beginning to think about his overtime strategy.
You got a lot of young guys out here. I'm watching Ramses Barden. There's Akeem Nicks split wide to the left in a slot formation. Andre Woodson needs some work. 3rd and 1.
Shot down the field for Barden. Too long, and the Giants are going to have to punt it away here with 20 seconds remaining.
Well, that's what you were waiting for all night, Ron.
Man, he had the shot. He had Barden on a wheel route.
You got a 6'6" guy. I'm looking for a little bit more surge, layout for the ball. I don't think Ramses found the ball until too late, but there clearly wasn't much separation. Good coverage by the Carolina Panthers.
Covers a lot of ground, but not the speed receiver, certainly at 6'6", as you'd understand, with that thick body. And it goes out of bounds at the 18-yard line with 10 seconds left. We're staring down the barrel of overtime thanks to Hunter Cantwell's drive here in the fourth.
Well, with the game on the line, he made some plays. I love the poise in the pocket. Pressure around him, delivered the ball on time. Cantwell, once again, the mobility, breaks the pocket. Well done. Gets out of bounds, stop the clock, and this is another great strike. And look at the move down the field. Touchdown, 5 plays, 88 yards. Cantwell goes 4 for 4, including a 21-yard scramble.
And then tack on that 2-point conversion with Andrew Davey getting us to 17 all. Jamal Lee's the lone back. Oh, Cantwell had it knocked out of his hands into the hands of Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill, a hero to many.
What a finish! Oh, Monday Night Football, my birthday?
Guys, that'll be reviewed automatically upstairs in the booth to make sure it's a fumble recovery and touchdown by Tommy Hill.
If it's not a fumble, it's interception. It'll stand.
Right. Never hits the ground.
I tell you, Mike Waffle, and the defensive line coach of the New York Giants, has had a great night. How many guys have rushed the passer and made plays, and Tommy Hill wins the game at the buzzer.
He hit a 6-pointer at the buzzer.
Is that a buzzer beater?
Yeah. Call that one, Mike. LeBron James.
Leger Duzable.
Happy birthday, Coach. You can celebrate now.
Well, I'll tell you. That's awesome.
That's not the highlight of your week, though, right?
Well, it was very close second.
Donald Trump was his partner in golf yesterday. That was the highlight.
Shame that didn't make it tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Leger Duzable, the second-year defensive tackle, knocks it out of the hands of Cantwell. Into the hands of Tommy Hill. See, just when you thought you saw it all, the most dramatic finish in the history of preseason football.
Happy birthday, Coach.
All right, maybe it's a slight overstatement, but it sounded good, right? 24-17, the Giants win. With John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, our Monday Night Crew, Susie Culver on the sideline, Mike Tirico. This is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Jets Ravens next Monday. Sports Center starts right now.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.